Trying to forget everything that isn't you. I'm not going home alone, 'cause I don't do too well. Yo! What up, guys? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? 'Cause I don't do too well on my own. We doing well, guys? Yo, 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 yeah. Yo. Dude. The maids came in my room today and vacuumed the floor, and I'm feeling fucking pristine. I cleaned my room. Guys, okay, I should explain why this is a problem, okay? Because this makes me seem really lazy, like someone who needs a maid. I don't. In fact, I've never had a maid in my fucking adult life. That's never been a reality for me, period. I've always cleaned my own room, you know? However, we have some issues here, because I live with what's the way to describe this? It's like, it's not exactly maladaptive or maladjusted. It's like a bunch of people who are so preoccupied with chasing Grand Marshal as a title that they've yet to make room for or assimilate to like normal adult chores, because life has been about being Grand Marshal, right? So what I've realized is that, yeah, gifted. There are no fucking vacuums in this house. We don't own a vacuum. We don't own a vacuum in this home. I can't clean my room. I can't clean it. I can pick things up, I throw things away, but because of my stream schedule, typically the maids are gone by the time I'm up. So I then can't vacuum the fucking floor. Can't you buy one? Yeah, but like, fuck, man. That would require me to like be up in time to go do it. Yeah, order a vacuum. Wes, you think I'm made of money? You think I'm made of money? Come on. I pay my tithe to the paladin. What do you think? I got nothing. Yo, what up, man? What? Just get one of those Dyson joints? Yo, get one of them Dyson joints. Fucking fire vacuum. Yeah, I will. What's up, Blake? Give Wake money. Give Wake money. Don't give me money. I'm fine. Eventually, I'll just... see, here's the thing. Miskiff somehow is better adjusted and owns a vacuum. So I'll just go down there and get vacuums in the future, and there won't be any issues. However, not having the vacuum now was weird, because, you know, I'm a grown adult that can't vacuum his own room. But that being said, I mean, look, I do have a mattress on the floor. But that being said, I wouldn't really have it any other way. I don't think I could, like, having a bed frame would take up so much space in this room. However, this is actually the 57-head play. Having a bed frame gives you a bed to put shit underneath, which is actually a massive boon. I haven't even considered that possibility, frankly. And I don't think I can upgrade my bed. It's a full... I like a queen, because queens are better. You know, it's easier to... Like, I'm fucking tall. Time to do a vacuum tier list with S-Fan. See, that thing just... That doesn't suck. That's so better for your back long term, they say. Wait, sleeping on the ground? Well, I bet sleeping on the floor is. But then again, I mean, I don't know to what extent a bed spring really improves sleeping quality. Like, I don't mind. I actually like being grounded. Then you have to vacuum under the bed? No, you don't. That might be the mature thing to do, but you do not have to do that. You can just continue to put stuff under the bed and never look under it. Memory foam for the win. Miskiff just had like a purple mattress in his garage. He's like, no one's used this, take it. So I did. However, there was also like a big stain on it, so it's kind of like someone definitely did indeed use this. There's no way that no one used this. There's a stain on it. However, it is also a free, very nice mattress, and it's super comfy. So I use that. I don't know to what extent it's actually a good mattress. I don't know anything about purple mattresses. Miz said they're great, and I'm not going to bother researching mattresses yet. You know, eventually I will. Mitch's mattress? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. God. Hopefully not. I'm already in this old room. Like, there's no... Like, dude, there was a while where I would just find, like, discarded, like, snus pouches places. Like I had to like it was like an Easter egg hunt for like where was Snooze like randomly discarded in the room. It's a little gross. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Yo, what up, Tiny? How we doing, dude? It's good to see you. Big people wave to Tiny. Supermod Tiny Scallywag. Russell lied and said you two were going to the gym. Russell didn't lie. I think Russell felt ill. He was saying he was feeling really sick. Like he kept delaying me. Like kept saying like, can we do this later? Can we do this in 30? Sorry, I have to keep pushing it back. And he's just feeling sick. I know he was at the gym yesterday. He came over and trained and everything. So I know that he's not working out. But he might have skipped, he might have just felt like shit, you know? Which, like, guys, you're allowed to feel like shit. You should not, like, train when you're sick, you know? Like, I'm not a proponent of this, like, old head, like, you do whatever it is you can at every moment to always train and always put, like, no, your body, almost equally, I would argue it should be given elevated importance, the concept of rest, because recovery is what's required to actually like synthesize new muscle tissue, you know? You need that process of rest in order to actually recover to the point of, achieving hypertrophy. Just overloading with stimulus does nothing in the absence of adaptation. You have to give room and nutritional context for adaptation. It's big. Training while sick makes you sick longer? Yeah, of course. Well, lifestyle change doesn't happen overnight, so let him rest. Well, I mean, you know, he told me he wants to train every day. I don't know if that's what I want him to do. I want him to do cardio every day, but I don't know if I want him to lift weights every single day. I just want Russell to, like, slowly assimilate to a new life rather than just, like, go ham for a competition and then fall off forever. You know what I mean? That's my big concern. How many rest days per week do you recommend when trying to build muscle? I'm doing 5 days on, 2 days off. It all depends on how well you're recovering, if you feel as though, like, previous workout sessions are somehow, like, inhibiting your ability to train the next day, right? So, like, let's say that, like, in your split, you have, like, a back day and then a leg day, like, one after the other, and you don't feel as if you can actually move that weight on that leg day because of how fatigued your CNS is from the back day. You might want to add a rest day in between, or an active rest day, like an arm day, or maybe you lift chest, who cares, something like that, you know? Things like that can aid a great deal in your recovery processes. So there's something to consider, right? Rest is for pussies? No. No, bad. Rest is essential, and everyone who wants to create like reasonable change in their bodies should be resting. So no. But yeah, as far as like, there's no like ideal number of days. I think that for intermediate lifters, like one rest day every 3 or 4 days is probably ideal. Anywhere from intermediate to an advanced lifter, like, you know, every 3 to 4 days is probably best. I do once every 5th day. So 4 days on, 1 day off, 4 days on, 1 day off. But one of my lifting days is just an arm day, which is for all intents and purposes very low impact, to the point to where it's not exactly taxing on my CNS. I'll rest when I die. I mean, that's also true, but you'll be forced to rest way sooner if you don't rest. You know what I mean? 7 rest days for years. Now that's probably peak anabolic activity there. I mean, your body's really looking after itself. I have hibernated for eons. I remember as a kid thinking that bears literally slept for like 6 months. Not that they like fatten themselves up to endure like a really arduous, like, you know, period of time in that year. You know, I thought that they would like sleep for 6 months and then come out of a cave. I wasn't thinking like, oh, well, clearly it's just like things to actually like forage and hunt are sparse. They probably sleep more because the environment's not super forgiving. It's darker most of the day in a lot of areas where bears are super prevalent. Probably not ideal. My muscles are wasting. Why? They don't have to. Fucking ogre mode. Ogre is such a fucking great emote. Even though you guys definitely fucked with that, right? Like, that's not real. Yo, what up, Tracy? It's good to see you, dude. But yeah, it doesn't matter, man. Russell's gonna acclimate. I have no concerns about Russell making it to, the end goal, the end times. I think he's gonna do just fine. And I'm excited to, help usher that in. How long do you think it would take to hibernate if you had a whole 9 months to fatten up beforehand? I don't really know. Like, hibernate as in not eat anything? It depends on how well your body actually, like, creates new fat. I mean, fuck, dude. That could be pretty brutal. I don't know. How long could a human being hibernate for? I mean, there was someone who, like, under doctor supervision fasted for, like, a year, I think. He was given, like, necessary, like, minerals and things of that nature, but he did do it. What's Russell's main goal of his training? Weight loss. It's primarily weight loss, but I'm not going to. I think the only thing I'm going to do is essentially eliminate rest intervals, or not eliminate them, but ensure that we have like intensifiers that seek not to like overload the muscle so much as like exhaust energy pathways. So some higher rep finishers and things like that to keep heart rate up throughout the workout. I think Russell's 23. I think. If I remember correctly, Russell's 23 or 22. No, I think he's 23. Is Clenbuterol? Yes, cleanse cheating. Anything that makes anything that's like a pharmaceutical intervention to like enhance or expedite a biological process is likely a PED. I would consider cleanse cheating if you're like. It's also kind of dangerous because it's like a bronchodilator or something, like given to horses. It's just a really strange veterinary medication to utilize for, like, yes, it will, in theory, enhance fat oxidation and in turn, like, fat loss, like, through the, like, I mean, because that's how it is you, like, lose a lot of fat is, like, through breathing, oddly enough. Like, that's how, you can actually, like, measure what it is you're burning most prominently through, like, breath assessments, which is strange. What would you recommend when it comes to building muscle? What do you mean, training protocol? You should take Adderall so he is not hungry. I mean, that's a great way to just needlessly give someone something that they'll become addicted to for no fucking reason at all. Clenbuterol will not enlarge the clit. No, it won't. Clen does not. Clen isn't, and it doesn't really influence hormones in any capacity. Clen's, it's a bronchodilator. It has to do with breathing. That's not how that works. No. History Channel made a show about people starving themselves in the wilderness. Wait, was the goal to starve themselves? Also, I'm 28, by the way, Notorious. I turned 28 in December. Yo, what up? Is this Stojko? Hey, Wake, I asked you a question about DOMs on my tricep a few days ago. It's been 7 days since I worked out and I still have soreness and swelling in my elbows. I mean, was it like your first time training in a while? I kind of forgot. Was that your context? Like you hadn't trained in a while and you like really went hard? Because 7 days is actually kind of normal still. How bad is the swelling? If the swelling is really bad, you might want to go see an actual, like, first time ever training. I would say you're probably okay unless you have, like, really acute, like, pain in a joint or a ligament that you can, like, touch and it's touch sensitive. But, like, does the muscle feel sore or does it feel like something's, like, bruised or broken? When it comes to an online trainer, is it worth? My current trainer cancels so much, it just fucks with my money. Yeah, I actually think it's awesome. I'm a big fan of online, but it all depends on how good you are at adhering personally. If it holds you more account, if what gets you to the gym is knowing that you're paying for that time, that's one thing. But if you can be given a protocol and follow through with it because you pay for it still and adhere to those principles, then I think it's fine. It's just more so in recognizing that, like at least for me, right? Like when I was doing a lot of online coaching, and this is still how I approach it with like friends that I help at present, anyone I give this kind of assistance to, it's like I'm not responsible for your adherence, I'm going to give you the most reasonable protocol, and if there's something that's too hard for you to adhere to, we'll talk about it and try to, in some way augment those variables. But, like, it's all on you. I can't do anything for you kind of thing, And so I don't take any issue with people falling short. The reality is that, like, you're paying for my time and my engagement and my insights, and I'm going to give that to you. And I'm going to encourage you to stick with it, but ultimately you have to realize that like your input is going to determine your output, right? It's like what it is in this regard. There's a very clear input-output kind of criteria involved. Like there's the calculus is really simple. If you are perfect in your execution of the variables given, I know how I can make changes better. So I think it's super worth it because it's a lot cheaper than in-person training as long as you'll still show up. But yeah, I think it's awesome. Look a little odd in the mirror when I stretch my tricep. It's very stiff and I have no full range of motion. I'd say you're probably fine. I'd wait another week. If it still feels awful after like 2 weeks, go see a doctor for sure. The accountability of the trainer is more to make me wake up early for gym sessions. Outside of that, I love going to the gym. I just hate that at this point, half my sessions a month are canceled and I end up winging it. Yeah, it sounds like it's not working anyway. You'd probably be better off being handed some kind of protocol for you personally and like just doing video check-ins with a coach. I actually think they're awesome. Awesome. I love online coaching. But that's really all I've ever had. That's not true. When I was a kid, I had like a training like mentor guy as well, who was massively formative to my development in a lot of ways. Awesome dude. But I found that I became like, there's a weird relationship you develop to exercise when you have someone coaching you through it, where it almost feels like this punishment that you're being taken towards, but instead it's like someone giving you a guide and you having to execute on your own volition. I feel as though like really honed my sense of personal accountability in a way that I actually appreciated, you know? Apart from bodybuilding, do you do any other sports? Not anymore. I used to, but not at present. Yo, what up, Bishop? How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Yeah, no, neither were, wholly significant in that regard. In fact, I feel pretty solid in that regard. Like, when it comes to online training, I think it's one of the most significant and catalytic things you can do. Yeah, they're monkasing. You gotta know, there are a lot of different people who will, like, have a staff badge. Like, a ton of people work at Twitch that don't have anything to do with, like, moderation or, like, partnership or, like, payment. There are some people who just do, like, code and maintenance and, you know. There are a lot of just, like, people who work under that, and they're all given a staff badge, so don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's good to see you, man. I work on the Twitch Rivals and original content stuff. Oh, fuck yeah, that's cool as hell, man. That's some of the best stuff that Twitch does as far as outreach is concerned, so Mazel tov. We can tip the hat to him. But yeah, when it comes to personal... so I don't do any other sports right now. I will be doing game day, though, with OTK, I think, hopefully. I don't know if I can... Don't tell anyone I leaked that. I don't know if I was supposed to say it. But... Shh. I don't know if I'm doing game day. I like the janitor idea more. I'm going to make that canon in my head. Yeah. Hey, and you know what? They need the janitor. Yeah, massive leak. Who would have thought? The OTK adjacent personal trainer is going to do the sports thing for OTK. What a... That came out of left field. What? Who? You're kidding. Can you give us one of the reasons that drives you to go to the gym on a daily basis? There's no reason. Like, at this point, I mean, there is, but there's no motivation. There's no sense of I have to prove this. Yo, oi meanie. Thank you so much, man.
Prime
it is
baby.
Quite literally that I, like, to my core, am so ceaselessly and cataclysmically neurotic that I, in a world that I think has kind of sought to deprive a lot of us of a sense of personal autonomy, right? In this ability to evoke meaningful change in our lives, right? To reclaim that sense of self-agency. Take a great deal of solace in this kind of like perfect input-output calculus of if I give this my effort, I will yield results. And so for me, it's just on a neurochemical level, it incites, I think, positive dopamine feedback loops that remind me that my efforts are valid and that they do yield results. And through the efforts given and the results then being yielded, not even to talk about the ways in which it actually promotes, like, let's say, like, endocrinological homeostasis, release of, like, endorphins, things of that nature that do promote good feeling. But it's also something that on a dopaminergic level is a daily achievement. And having a daily achievement early in my day or first thing in my day sets me in motion for what I believe is then a number of successive achievements thereafter, which is important to someone like me with, like, really debilitating ADHD and a sense of, like, I think perfectionism that makes effort daunting, right? Like, not only do I have a difficult time actually honing my focus, but on some level, I have a very difficult time reckoning with my fear of not materializing the very best version of something or the very best product that I can. And because of that, I delay a lot of action. And so having one thing that reminds me of, like, sometimes something is better than nothing, which is how I feel about every workout. You are never going to have the perfect training session. Some days you might feel like you did, but there will always be another thing that could have been improved. What matters is that you are consistent in your efforts towards arriving at a closer to perfect daily output. You know what I mean? So being perfectly consistent to me is far more significant than being perfect in your execution. And I think that that is a really salient paradigm for life and like personal achievement, and that like sometimes it's about continuing to try, not necessarily in waiting until you feel as if you can try perfectly. Do you know what I mean? It's this small and gradual sense of progressive overload that, to me, and progressive overload is like, it's a literal life philosophy. It's like, how can I gradually and you know, productively overload my present capacity to change something in my life? In this case, like my body, right? But you can apply it to anything, you know? How do I seek new discomfort, more daunting stimulus, etc.? And I think that's really significant. So for me, there are a number of reasons why I think that, you know, I continue to train. It has nothing to do with like wanting my body to look a certain way anymore. And I think that the further you go with it, the more you're probably going to... It is nice to be in shape, and I do feel better when I'm in shape. And don't get me wrong, I like that I, you know, have like built, I think like a physique that's like emblematic of consistency in some regard, but also, you know, I try to keep it as adjacent to health as possible. It's part of why I'm very like anabolics for myself personally, is that I just believe that like you have to be mindful of to what extent you're promoting something that might not actually be to like someone's like, you know, holistic betterment. Not that it's bad intrinsically, but I too have debilitating ADHD. It's tragic at times, but sometimes an advantage when I'm distracted by things that lead to productivity. 100%. I mean, without ADHD, I wouldn't have like this like weird like breadth of fascinations that I can speak on, and you know, it's kind of a superpower in this particular arena. But it's also devastating in that like it promotes rejection dysphoria is like pretty comorbid or and oftentimes symptomatic of ADHD, and so like this fear of not producing a perfect effort, and moreover this sense of like dread that it encourages every time I'm tasked with presenting something that I think is representative of what I'm capable of, is a big thing. And yeah, also not being able to stay on track sucks. What did I miss here? Yeah, hold on. Yo, it's my B-Day today on Valentine's Day. B-Day on Valentine's, my GF broke up with me like a week ago, and it got me thinking I'm clapped. Can I add you and send a pic of myself? I really want to see what people would rate. No. Dude, no. Joshua, the reason why I disagree with that is that your girlfriend didn't break up with you because of your appearance. And if you think that that's the case, it's not it. You attracted her, she was interested in being with you, and it has nothing to do with how it is you appear at this point. It might be just lifestyle incompatibility. It might be philosophical incompatibility. It could be that this person didn't enjoy the things you enjoy. Don't look at yourself or your body or your face and think of this as this kind of like defining attribute, you know? These are some parameters in which we kind of occupy, but it's not really worth obsessing over. There are things you can do to optimize your health, your wellness, your sense of personal, like, you know, let's call it like there are ways to, I guess, like optimize certain variables in regards to like how you may appear, you know, mostly just in being lean. I think that being lean, generally speaking, promotes more attractive appearance to people, especially for men, as that just tends to be like what people, you know, associate like virility, strength, masculinity, and like a lot of the things that come through via leanness is one thing, but that's not necessarily something that women are going to exalt. One of the things that you really have to think about as well is that like women have like also been like obsessed with like femboys and dad bods. Like there's a whole breadth of like physical presentations that women have been like, yeah, I'd fuck that, you know what I mean? So don't obsess over whether or not you fall under this, like, very specific, very, like, it's a very patriarchal projection of what men think men should be, not necessarily what women are saying they want. So don't look at, like, your appearance and, identify or internalize that as a limiting factor. It's far, far, far more productive for you to think about, like, who am I? And maybe why does this, thought of like this to me is already indicative of a pretty, let's say, like, disruptive insecurity. If you're saying, like, I think I'm clapped, can you guys please tell me if I'm okay or not? I wouldn't doubt it if maybe your sense of I'm not enough is what might create rifts in your relationship. Maybe there's, like, general paranoia about the possibility of someone wanting something that isn't that or what it is you are. And I think that that's really significant. So, Don't obsess over that, man. Don't obsess over your appearance. Obsess over, like, the things that you derive joy from and fulfillment from, and sharing that with people. You're going to be far more likely to meet individuals who you're actually compatible with, engaging with those things. So I hope that was of any help whatsoever. Do you think a body like David Lade can be obtained naturally? I I'm willing to bet David Lade does a lot of like photoshopping personally. Like, whenever I look at videos of David, it doesn't really look like he does in photos, you know? So there might be a little bit of touching up or just like really posing well, good angles, playing with lens distortion and stuff. But, I think he could be natural. It's probably not super likely because he has a fucking phenomenal physique. Like, for the majority of people, I'd say absolutely not. For someone with phenomenal genetics like David Lade would supposedly have, if he looks like that naturally, maybe. It's hard to say. Do you think that trying to forge your body can help one's mental image of themselves? Not really. I think that it can help you feel a sense of agency over yourself, and I do think that if you... Here's the thing. The reality is that if you've internalized this kind of, like, let's say, like, physical imperative of what you must necessarily look like to be attractive, you'll probably feel better in aligning with it. However, it'll only take a little bit of time in occupying that to maybe realize that it's the ways in which that fortified your confidence that actually led to you being more attractive to people. Unless you were, like, really obese. In all likelihood, it's just that. You know, like, okay, I am more attractive to people on the basis of, like, me, you know, like, believing that I'm worthy of people's time and attention, you know? I imagine that that's more of what it is. However, I'm not going to sit here and say that I think that that's, like, decidedly what improves their mental image, but I think it could put people in a position of just being more confident and in turn navigating the world in a way that's just more productive in that way. Like, they're going to bring better, more refined interest unto themselves. Do you think it's harmful to your mental when you know that you are not fit and you call yourself fat, but other people insist that you aren't fat even though you are? Yeah, it sounds dysmorphic, man. You cannot be fit and also, like, not be fat. Like I have tons of friends who I'm like, you're not fit, but it's not like you're, like, obese, you know? Like, you're just kind of like a normal dude. Like, you just have, like, a very normal, like, probably, like, physical health. You probably have a relatively, like, middle of the bell curve lifestyle that's not particularly guided, but also not particularly limited, you know? Or not particularly, like, unhinged. It's fine. Just, again, think more about who it is you are, not as much how it is you appear, because there are certain things you do have influence over, but, like, for instance, like, being, like, super, like, muscular, like, I've been a few body types. Like, I've been, like, really skinny. Like, I was, like, 155 pounds when I was modeling. I'm, like, I got all the way up to 260 pounds, and now I'm, like, you know, somewhere in the middle. Like, I've got much more muscle tissue now, but I'm much leaner than I was at 260, things of that nature. I wasn't as big as I was then, but ultimately, you know, being, like, this 200-pound range is, to me, it's just what I feel healthiest in. I attracted different people when I was super skinny and different people when I was really, like, big and, like, you know, kind of, like, swollen. Like, the point is, moreover, that, like, I think that everyone has, like, there are a breadth of preferences, especially amongst women, and I find that typically it has more to do with whether or not they connect with you or enjoy your presence and, like, enjoy the things that you enjoy, whether or not you, like, you know, are stimulating company and, like, really engage with them on the things they love. I think that that's important to address first and foremost, man, is, like, think more about, like, who it is you are and how it is you navigate the world and less just about your appearance. But if you don't feel healthy and you don't feel confident in a body that you feel is unhealthy, it's okay to, like, strive to be in better shape. Just don't feel like it's, like, what your worth is hinging on, because it's not the case. Skinny arm wrestler, Venice? No, I haven't. Let's see. From this point on, you're leaving my left monitor. Don't make it that. But if you enjoy the discourse and you like hanging out here, man, we are very lucky to have you. But no, don't. There are some things that aren't worth obsessing over, you know? The best thing that you can focus on is, again, how is it that you are navigating the world, you know? Your physique says very little about you. Your physical appearance is, frankly, like, it's just kind of this, like, set of, like, genetically predetermined circumstances outside of just, like, your physical fitness. And I'd say, yes, pursue fitness, because fitness is a really productive thing to pursue. It will train you in a number of ways. Don't do it just for, like, the vanity of looking as attractive as you possibly can, because you're chasing a very specific ideal, a socialized ideal, not this, like, let's say, like, de facto truth of what attractive is. And even if you want to just align with, like, the prevailing masculine identity, just know that that's kind of what men are promoting. Like, women are pretty cool with a lot of different appearances. You just have to be engaging and, like, offer something of substance to them. Unless you don't want to date women who want substance from their relationships, but I doubt that's the case. What are you saying about David? I mean, yeah, David's probably not natural just because David is a phenomenal physique, and most people with phenomenal physiques are I mean, like, truly, like, you know, like these they're genetic marvels, with drugs included. Some of them could just be total marvels. I mean, he does undoubtedly, like, you know, do everything in his power to make his photos as great as possible, but, like, don't, like, look at other people's physiques and make that, like, an objective for yourself. Like, try to maximize your physique to the best of your ability, you know? Like, the fucking foundations of muscular hypertrophy are still going to sit there. Don't listen to someone else because they say they're natural. Don't listen to me because I say I'm natural. Listen to the people with the best, most, you know, verifiable insights into how to change the body. I will say stuff like manlet hate that gets pushed is not coming from guys or the patriarchy. Oh, it's definitely dudes. What do you mean? Manlet came from 4chan, dude. That's 100% it. That's like literal 4chan rhetoric. And no universe is that not that. No shot. Yeah. Oh, guys, I will review your, like, dating profiles and things like that if you want to submit them on Discord. I think we'll go over them on Wednesday, potentially. But also know that the best dating profile is one that's deleted. But I will go over them and give you guys insights into it. But most of it's probably just going to be get a better photo, you know? Like, have someone take a good photo of you. It's like well-lit. Photos that represent your interests, things like that. But my prevailing advice to all of you is going to be to not fucking bother with dating apps. Go out and do things. I used to play 3 sports and feel like if I'm not constantly working out or doing something that I'm wasting my life. No. You're wasting your life if you aren't doing the things that you derive fulfillment from. You know? That's the most important thing for you to do. Let's see. Is calf size all genetics? No, but it can be hamstrung by it. If you have really, like, high insertions, it can be harder to develop big calves, but you can always develop the calves that you do have to be bigger, without a doubt. Let's see. Bradley Martin uses Photoshop. A lot of people do, of course. I would not be inundating yourself with, like, you know, fitness influencer jargon or content at all. I think it's problematic. I don't think it's really, like, science or anything first. It's mostly just, like, this sort of, like it's, like, aspirational, like, masturbation in a way of people being like, I want to look like that. I want to wield the power that this person has, like, very fictitiously created a narrative around. That just doesn't exist, you know? It's like those old videos of, like, Z's, like, taking his shirt off on Omegle or something like that, you know what I mean? It's like, this is not... That's not like that's so narrow-casted. It's weird when someone does that, you know? It's shocking. It's why there's a reaction. It's not like people are just, like, obsessing over this and, like, they're willing to forego all sense of reason the minute they see an interesting physique, you know? It's not the case. There's not a lot of power to be wielded in it other than the power that you hone from it on, like, a psychological level. Like, your capacity to discipline yourself and labor towards your inevitable change is what's important. Let's see. Shave that thing off your head, you hippie. We might for charity, actually. I've been thinking about it recently. Lastly, can I post a picture in Discord of the elbow swelling I'm referring to? Sure. Yeah, of course. I'm not a doctor, though, so, I mean, like, if you're really concerned, just go see one, man. But I can tell you that if this is your first time training, probably the case. Let's see. PRP injections. Oh, yeah, there are plenty of ways to go about maintaining if you want to, but, you know, it's not all that important. I mean, it could be for you. It's all for you to determine. Most of the, you know, clinical, presently clinical remedies for that or interventions are have a very high safety profile. So, thoughts on L-carnitine? Is it a decent supplement to take? I don't know. It's decent. I mean, it's an amino acid, right? Like, you're probably getting it through a number of meats as well. I've heard people doing, like, intramuscular injections of L-carnitine can increase the receptivity of androgen receptors, but I don't know to what extent that's actually valid. But I have heard that. So, you know, it all depends. Yeah, of course it can be, but, you know, websites like that have to focus on the most haunting possible reality. It's like, that's what gets clicks. Even More Plates, More Dates will tell you that the majority of people who, go on these medications are going to essentially, like, abscond from the internet or never go on the internet because they just trust doctors, and the treatment is entirely safe for the majority of people who take it. They experience literally no shift in overall health or wellness. So I wouldn't personally obsess over it. If it's something that you've had diagnosed and it's something you do want to change, go for it, man. And if you don't respond well to it, you're probably going to be okay. The likelihood of it being something that endures past that is, oh wow, that looks really swollen. Yeah, I'd go see a doctor, dude. That's super duper swollen, man. It's fucking huge. Did you Photoshop that? Are both identical? Are those both? I mean, if you did that to both arms, did you feel like a pain of some kind, like a snap? Or anything like that? I mean, like, if you didn't, the likelihood of you having significantly injured a joint is pretty slim. I'm willing to bet that this is just... edema from overuse, but if this doesn't go down in a few days, I'd go to a doctor. Yeah, if you can't sleep, go to a doctor regardless. Doesn't matter if it's an injury. Like, if you're in so much pain you can't sleep, go see a doctor, dude. 100%. No sense in not. That's miserable. You should be able to sleep. You know what I mean? Oh, also, I do think it would be fun to see how far we could get in a bar exam with no studying or prior knowledge. I don't know how chat feels about that, if you think that'd be boring content, but you can get, like, bar, like, practice exams online and get, like, tested. I think that'd be really funny. How far can we get with just common sense? No understanding of the law, no Google, nothing. Just us being like, well, this seems kind of like what should happen. Imagine if we could pass the bar. Spoiler, we can't. But it'd be kind of fun. I think it'd be fun. I don't know if it'd be also kind of boring, but learn guitar in 24 hours challenge. What do you mean learn it? Like, learn what? Any clue how to train forearms with extremely weak wrist joints? I can't afford more weight to wrist curl than I do now. So, do you mean you can't afford any because of how your wrists feel? Or, like, financially you can't buy more weights? If so, just, like, attach shit like fucking water bottles onto it. Take the bar in character as a polemist. How the bar should be is what I'll study. Guitar takes so much muscle memory and neurological work, you can't learn it in one day. You can learn music theory, though. Yeah, what would the goal be, though? Like, maybe I could try to learn a song in a day. That could be fun. That'd be a fun subathon challenge, you know? Guitar takes so much... Yeah, but I did play guitar when I was young, so I have a little bit of that still, I think. Play some video game songs. Reminds me of when Microsoft came and tasted my computer's... tested is probably what you meant. Oh, that's funny. No shit. How big's my water jug? This thing's a big old gallon, big guy. A gallon. Reach 1K rating on chess.com. I don't know if chess... Would chess be fun? Would you guys want to see that? I really want Bonnie to play some video game music, because it's all MIDI tones anyway. Yeah, Bonnie will probably... I mean, I bet she'd be willing to do that. I can play Smoke on the Water. It's all power chords. I still remember some guitar, but I think I could learn Smoke on the Water, like, in, like, 3 minutes again, you know? Chess is very polarizing. I don't know if anyone would actually have fun watching me play chess. In the past, it's been a lot of, like, backseat Andes, too, which is not fun at all. To just have people be like, well, what you should do? Like, okay, man, well, fucking... Thank you. Chess is so boring. A lot of people feel that way. I mean... I can beat the AI on chess.com up to, like... I think, like, 1,500. Not every time, though. But I do occasionally, like... Well, but I did it for, like, 2 days. I just started playing chess. I mean, I remembered I learned chess in, like, the 1st or 2nd grade. Didn't really play it at all after that. But I remember what the pieces do. So I did it for, like, a couple days. And I could, like, beat the 1,500. Was it 1,500? I don't even know. What was the... I can look right now on my phone. Hold on. How far did I go? I stopped playing after like 2 days because it just wasn't interesting me anymore. But let's see. Backseaters are annoying. Yeah, I do not like that. Let's see. Computer. What was his? Hold on. What was this guy? Okay, this guy's 1,300. This is as far as I got. 50K to redeem to play you in a game of chess? No, because too many people will do that. Like, people have a lot of channel points. And then, like, if they redeem that at a time I don't want, it's fucking annoying. Like, I can't give people the power to, like, totally change content. But it is fun to do that. If I was, like, a chess streamer, that would make sense. But, like, I don't want to fucking have to, like, go play chess in the middle of a Fallout game, like, playthrough or something, you know? There's literally only one streamer, non-chess players over 1K. Really? Why are you not at OTK meeting? Because I'm not an OTK member, guy. What the fuck do you mean? Because OTK doesn't consult me on what to do next. They're like, what about that guy who doesn't know anything about streaming? Yeah, Wake, what's he doing? Fuck, we should get him in there. Yeah, no, the guy who has crises about not knowing what content to make. What do you think he could do today? What do you... Think he's got anything? I thought you were their muscle. Like, I beat the shit out of people. Look, like, yes, OTK is missing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars of annual profit not having me in their org. I'm untapped potential. Yes, I will overtake the platform with a torrent of wisdom. We all know this. But that's for them to learn, okay? It's not for us to insist. It's for them to learn. I don't know what else to tell you. OTK when partnered, when fight Hassan, when bat... Dude, they want me to fucking... They want me to fight Hassan so bad. One day we'll get partnered, though, chat. It will happen. I think... I now say that with no confidence. I actually don't know. I actually don't know. OTK when partnered, when fight Hassan, when pat chest. Oh, wow. I'm not even reading that because there's no comment. I thought you were saying I'll get OTK'd when I'm partnered and when I fight Hassan. You're saying OTK win, partnered win, fight Hassan win, bat chest. Got it. Partnered on Kick, yeah. Making fucking 30 grand a month on Kick. Just all people saying, you know what? We can afford it. People lose a lot of money here. I've heard some people don't get partnered because of dick jokes. What? I mean, we do more dick affirmation here than dick jokes. We tell people, you know, their dicks are okay. We don't make fun of dicks. Banned on Kick.com speedrun? You think it's possible? They stream porn on that website, man. What do you think's gonna happen there? I've heard some people don't get dick because of partner jokes. Now that is a true tragedy. That's a true tragedy, man. No, there are no new Camp Canute details, man. I don't even know, like, what Camp Canute 2 is going to look like. I got no clue. I don't know when. I don't know how. I think that that's going to be something that's addressed closer to the time. Because right now, I got no idea, man. We still have our friendly guy in Twitch chat. Who's our friendly guy? Oh, our staff guy? Oh, maybe. Also probably just chilling now. Or left. Because who can afford to just sit here and obsess ad infinitum? He's got fucking bathrooms to clean. But no, I don't think I will, I don't know why I didn't get partnered. I still don't like thinking about it too much, because I don't think it's super productive. I kind of like making content the way I make content. I don't think that we're, like, a massive risk to that website. We kind of just give, like, as clean a value as possible. My son's school's trying to punish him by having him clean bathrooms. He's 6. What? Where do you live? Obviously, don't give details. That's like weird, like corporal pun. What? I mean, did he shit on the floor? Like, was there, like, a reason for them to be like, he should clean, like, is he cleaning up his own mess, you know? Like, what happened? That doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? Kick from Kick when talk shit about Gamba? I don't think you can get banned from Kick. I really don't. I don't think that there's moderation on Kick.com. I don't believe that Kick.com wants to moderate or intervene at all. I think they just want to give money to people to bring new, potential gamblers to the casino, essentially. How do we get those who are none the wiser and impressionable to give us their money? That's the job. Shiva Kid with a spork? I don't think that'd be the case. There wasn't. I watched all the new HBO show on there last Sunday. On where? Oh, yeah. I've watched Naruto Shippuden on... Yeah, but, like... It won't be a massive fucking stream. You know what I mean? He climbed into a urinal, overlooked the toilet cubicle thing, learned from a kid. Oh, sure, that's fine. That's just a kid being a kid. Cleaning a bathroom doesn't really make sense for a child to do. They're like, that's odd. There has to be a better way of disciplining someone. That just feels weirdly unhinged. Typically, they're very clear parameters, you know, of like what it is you can or can't do. You watched MILF Manor on Mrs.? Well, that one got shut down real quick. I mean, real quick. Aiden watched the entirety of the Super Bowl with 150,000 viewers. Real viewers, yes. Eating ice is also known as not to be confused with pogophagia. I don't understand why me eating fucking ice is so contentious here, man. I don't get it. You guys hate it. You hate me talking about it, man. You hate it to me. German went live during halftime and pulled 15,000. Absolute Giga Chad. Well, Germa's like a fucking titan. Germa's maybe the best content creator of all time. Dude is a fucking genius streamer. He is, to me, the very best streamer under the sun. Without a doubt. He's so inventive. Without a doubt. So fucking incredible. So fucking insane. What is bad about him streaming the Super Bowl? It was free anyways. Still saw some ads. Still saw same ads. Well, it's more so about the fact that they... So, this is why. It'd be the same reason why if you were getting restreamed somewhere and the views weren't getting counted and you were like really popular elsewhere, people would get upset because like the Super Bowl, kind of like streamers, has to essentially tabulate their total viewership, their ratings, to then assess the value of the ads they sell. So in the event that they make it free, that's not really the case because that just pays the cable networks like, you know, a base rate. It's never pay-per-view. The reality is that if they can't tabulate the fact that you were watching the Super Bowl, they don't know how to then sell their collective viewership, you know, because it's getting radically undermined. Now, for big corporations, I don't see it as an issue. Now, for, like, you know, a small streamer, I see it as an issue, you know, because that streamer probably wants all their views. Fox paid billions of dollars to the NFL for exclusive rights to the show. It's pretty obvious. Of course, that as well. But I'm okay with people stealing money from Fox News. I think it's a great company to bankrupt. Rupert Murdoch can eat shit. I'm cool with it. He'll find a way to manipulate that narrative and continue to push some kind of, fiction about the world onto an unwitting audience and be, entirely at peace. Fox News is the only reliable news left. Yeah. Yep. I think ice complainers are likely ASMR consumers who don't appreciate the lack of crunch curation. Now, that's it. Yeah. You know what's right? The stuff I agree with. That's how I know. Fucking A. They literally run, like, adult TikTok, is what it feels like. They intersplice memes into their news segments and their commentary, like, episodes. It's insane. I would for a while, at my gym, when I do cardio, I would watch Fox News just to get a sense for it, and it was utter fucking, just so vacuous, so substanceless. Just utter brain rot. Just the most insane, active, straw-manning, blatant misrepresentation of actual issues to the ends of, curating outrage. It was so fucking bizarre. Close to 60 kg for 2 chin-up, only 1 this time? I don't know why you're maxing out your chin-up, but alright. Why do people have such a deep emotional connection to sports? I mean, a number of things, but I think a lot of people just like having something to care about and something to root for, following a narrative of triumph. People are looking for something to care about. That's why they end up finding their way to sports. And there's a very human, emotion at the core of it, which is like one of like, let's call it like longing. Like there's like people who are like working and laboring and yearning to be the very best, and you get to track this kind of like coalescence of efforts towards this common goal, I think that it's more about like, and people want to find something that they are engaged with. It kind of like transcends the I guess like the fourth, like the veil of fiction. You don't have to suspend disbelief. It's real. It's occurring in real time kind of thing. It's all the same script, no opinions. Yo, it's insane. It's insane. Same with CNN. CNN, I don't really watch a lot of news to begin with. CNN is likely still obsessing over, and that's the real thing. It's more so that I just believe that, for all intents and purposes, the platform of the left is a far more, human platform that considers the, well-being of the total populace, but it's also like super neolib and also governed by the same kind of outrage guidance. It's just this constant pinning of one group against another rather than addressing the real issues of like, this like, essentially like, let's call it like, inescapable, like omnipresent, like plutocratic and corporate control over just about every element of our lives at this point. Which is fine. Like, I get it. I think that it's mostly just about how do we continue to point the finger back at our opposition rather than address the systemic issues that are the fundamental origin of both parties, both demographics, qualms, which is the ways in which, we are fundamentally reduced to human capital, like that's it. We're just people to labor for the wealth and achievement of a populace that we are, actively barred from really engaging with. CNN's not the left at all. We don't have a legitimate leftist platform. That's kind of the thing, is there's no real leftist media. None of that exists. You have, like, center-right neoliberal media and CNN and MSNBC that'll, like, virtue signal, like, identity politics things that, frankly, only serve to, then be co-opted by, like, Fox News narratives to be like, can you believe they're talking about this? And then they'll misrepresent the data or even the position of the people at CNN. It's so insane, man. It's just a tabloid. That's it. 2 newspapers, including one tied to Fox News. They're all just higher-ups reading our fact-based stories and going, okay, but how does this sound good for what we want? None are unbiased on any side. I totally buy that in every way. I think that everything's more or less built on how do we continue to widen the divide between two groups of people so that they continue to believe that the people on the other side of the issue rather than the fucking, like, plutocrats that kind of stand at the center of both and direct that battle, like they're, like, telling you to fight this other person. They're guiding your outrage to anything other than them because they know that the real issue is the ways in which fucking, corporate imperatives have pervaded their way into the entire fucking, like, process of arriving at or cementing legislation, and that all of it's built on the lobby and how Citizens United has made the lobby probably the single most influential thing in American political processes, It's all fucking insane. Did you chime in on Aiden leaving yet? Yeah, I talked about it yesterday. I think we'll upload a YouTube video on it. But yeah, I mean, point is more over that, leaving for Kick, whether you're going to gamble or not, is wholly unethical because Kick's able to. I just think that there's a total lack of critical thinking going into anyone who's like, yeah, Kick's the better platform because they're going to pay their creators more. That's not the case. Kick is a disaster of a platform that's being solely financed by essentially the gambling losses of the populace that watches the streamers on that website. Their entire business strategy is to essentially create a space to let's say like indoctrinate like unwitting or let's say like naive, none the wiser, if nothing else, uninitiated non-gamblers into the thrill of gambling, And they're banking on being able to give these content creators a fucking unimaginable amount of wealth on the basis of the fact that they're going to procure more total wealth for them through their indoctrination of their audience, or the active exploitation of their audience, if nothing else, towards the ends of their own personal wealth, Like, I'm going to shill gambling and promote easy-to-access gambling that provides no skill, mind you. It's the single most base, primitive fucking thing you could possibly, be navigating or directing any of your personal efforts towards. So yeah, Kick is to me wholly fucking unethical. There's nothing about it that's a triumph morally. I think that Amazon and Twitch have their own issues and how it is they go about moderating the lack of care or concern they seem to be directing towards the majority of the individuals who stream on the platform, and frankly even to those who actually do net them a great deal of money. I think that Twitch has been well documented in having a pretty robust series of blunders in how it is they navigate like partner or streamer relations. That being said, there are certain things that are just like unjust on the basis of it being, intertwined in the realities of American capitalism, or global capitalism rather, and that like there are very few commodities or services that are not, saturated, just absolutely, like steeped in total exploitation of the working class and of frankly foreign labor. Moreover, I mean, the injustices that all kind of like cascade through Amazon as a whole are like it's prolific, the amount of exploitation and injustice that stems from this one service, But that can be said for just about anything that's fulfilling the imperatives of profit and capital on the kind of scale that Amazon is. It's deeply, deeply problematic, and it's the embodiment of late-stage capitalism, and it's absolutely okay to be critical of Amazon. However, they're providing, like, also, like, in many ways, commodities that people are actively in search of, and the issue is more the system that creates Amazon than just Amazon itself. But I don't feel as if I'm actively exploiting my viewership by streaming on a service that's owned by Amazon. I feel like it's important for me to be critical of Amazon as a company and how it is they go about essentially, let's say, like suffocating any semblance of local competition to the point to where, we are creating this, monopoly adjacent late stage capitalist nightmare in real time, Because, again, if we are going to be in a capitalist schema, competition is the only thing that can make it even, like, tangent to viable, right? And it's never going to be viable because it's still always predicated on suffocating competition. That's how capitalism is actually designed to achieve this, like, quasi-utopia that people seem to think is achievable, but the actual utopia is utter dystopia. It's, like, essentially a single, like, corporate monolith maximizing efficiency and subjugating people to its, own excess in a way. It's fucking weird, right? But anyways, so because we're seeing that play out in real time, we're going to be up in arms about it or whatever, I get it. Kick is actively trying to find ways to essentially ensnare individuals in legitimate neurochemical addiction, right? It's like, how can we get people on a platform that is funded solely by gambling and able to be funded handsomely by gambling on the basis of just how much money they're able to procure through the losses of the people who find their way onto kick.com and in turn onto stake. It's woefully, it's you willingly exploiting the entirety of your audience to the ends of your own personal wealth. Twitch not paying me, let's say, more than 50% of my sub split, and trying to find ways to... Twitch isn't profitable. Twitch is a very difficult time turning profit at present. From what I understand, it is in no way, shape, or form a lucrative enterprise. In that they're operating on the promise of future value at this point. But that it's fucking unimaginably expensive to broadcast and to transmit these kind of like live streams to the magnitude that they do. So I don't know, man. When you look at a website like Kick, that is able to promise the capacity to, let's say, like, reward handsomely all of the content creators, and that because of that, they're not going to be exploiting, like, all of Train's fucking vacant rhetoric around the moral triumph of stake.com, actively, let's say, like, returning the given value back to the streamer. That's at the expense of the fucking viewer. That's at the expense of their health, their wellness, their stability, everything. It makes no fucking sense. Defending Amazon, I think I just kind of fucking shat on Amazon for a bit. I don't know what else to tell you. Amazon's not fucking online gambling with questionable ethics, and inability to even check the actual, projected or perceived win rates versus the win rates of the individuals who then go on to play the game. I don't even think that you can create an active comparison between the atrocities of something that's predicated solely on ensnaring people in this insidious dopamine treadmill that it's literally spend money at the chance to make money, and the chance to make money is almost nothing. It's a perfect, like, there is no business that offers a higher return per customer by way of profit than gambling, especially slots, in no fucking universe. It's pure profit. The likelihood of them to pay out is slim to none. They know the exact odds. It's why it's a perfect business. They know exactly how risky it is. And that the likelihood, and if you're good at a game or you know how to break the game, they tell you to stop. That's what blackjack is, dude. It's a literal perfect business. They find a way to essentially get you addicted to the thrill of, I'm taking an enormous risk. I have no influence over that risk, and I get to just see if somehow chance is in my favor. And then moreover, gambling becomes the diluted, like, solution to the devastation your addiction to gambling has created. And that, like, oh, fuck, man, but if I get this next one, then I can pay off all my debts. It's so fucking asinine that you funneling viewers into this website is in any way, shape, or form morally superior than, to like, you know, like, stake isn't because they're choosing to pay a handful of individuals. I'm not gonna, dude, boogity, fucking refund his points. The IRL word ban is stupid. If you guys are gonna remove "and" while I'm ranting, eat cock. Stop it. I'm not doing it. That's insane. Do it while I'm gaming. It's fun. While I'm trying to make a point, you're just ruining the day. You're ruining the content. In no universe am I doing it, but I love you. And don't go anywhere. But I'm sorry. Please refund us points if we can. So, when we're talking about when it comes to stake, I think that the biggest, let's say, like, I want to call it, like, if nothing else, just, like, for you to act like Kick.com as a platform is somehow on moral high ground on the basis of them paying their streamers more money involves a total absence of critical thought to how it is they're able to do it. It's because they are relying on you funneling viewers to stake, which has essentially infinite profitability. There's not even a physical location. There's not. You go and you gamble on the internet, a website that's coded, and you just give infinite money, essentially, until you run out. In the case of many people who gamble, until you fucking run out, without ever having meaningful payouts. They're just harvesting wealth from you. Just harvesting wealth. At the chance of you getting a win. And that's why they're able to pay you, is because you are creating so much profit for them on the basis of you bringing new gamblers to their website that they can offer you an enormous contract. The website doesn't even have to make money. It's about just you getting people to gamble. That's it. You're just Trojan horsing that. And then you're being like, see how fucking great this company is? Look at how much money they're able to give us. That's because they know that creators matter. That's not it. Twitch is not a profitable company. I'm not going to fucking act like they have I think that they have navigated their sense of relative monopoly over live streaming space, over live streaming as a concept, with a sort of complacency that has made it such that a lot of partners and people who have, created for the website a great deal of money, are actively, let's say, like, what's the right word for this? They're actively, like, aggravated. They're frustrated. There's, if nothing else, a sense of neglect that they are, at active odds with, But to act as if this other website is morally superior because they are paying content creators a fucking lump sum of money is fucking insane. They're doing that because of how lucrative it is to procure at least one new gambler. You know, one new fucking addict is going to make them so much more money than, you know, them having to find ways to monetize, you know, ad spaces on a, you know, 6-hour live stream, you know? The money they get from Kick is from their viewers at chance at more money, which most won't get, but they care about their views. Braindead Aiden also said he cares about each of his viewers. No, they don't. They're either gambling addicts or blatantly self-serving. That's it. Or they're just so not... They're such fucking... They're just the furthest thing from a critical thinker to the point to where they think that this money is just materializing and that Twitch is, at its core, just a fundamentally, like, you know... And don't get me wrong, I think that most corporations are fundamentally corrupt and looking to find ways to create as much profit for, you know, and as much payout for the people who are, you know, sitting on their board and, you know, active in executive roles as possible. But they're not... Twitch is just not that profitable of a company. Live streaming, from what I understand, is unimaginably expensive. But I'm not totally sure. Most people who gamble do it for fun, knowing they're wasting money. It's but a fictitious idea that everyone's an addict. You're not responsible for the one guy that wastes all his money. Yes, you are. You're actively platforming it and trying to find ways to get people to engage with it. You are responsible for anyone who finds their way to gambling after you, because you know that there's a high possibility of there being addicts. You are responsible, 100%. For introducing and oftentimes creating a very fictitious concept of what gambling is. That's not... You bringing people to that environment is in every way opening them up to it. You're not responsible for them going on to gamble, but a lot of people aren't necessarily responsible for being addicts either. It's literal neurochemical failure. Some people just are hardwired for a total absence of self-control. And you want to know something? These people who are platforming it are fucking addicts. They are fucking addicts who have the ability to do so with an unlimited purse because they help procure new addicts. Most people who gamble might do it for fun, but gambling is I don't know anyone who gambles safely and healthily, and like anyone who like proclaims themselves to be a gambler, anyone who's going to gamble on stake.com doesn't do it for fun. That's my take. People are not gambling for fun on stake.com. No fucking shot. They might go to Vegas and wear a nice suit, hang out with their friends, drink a gin and tonic, think they're going to get laid, play blackjack, lose a couple $100 and say, well, that's that. Glad we had fun out with the friends. They're not alone in their fucking room spinning a slot machine just as a light show. Fucking hypnotizes them in a dark fucking dank basement. That's not what's happening here, dude. Anyone finding their way to that, no shot. No shot. Wait, are knife brands responsible for stabbings? Yes. Yes, they have a hand in stabbings. Of course they do. How the fuck? They're creating something to stab people with. Then you're like, they're not yes, like, things like the creation of the stabbing, how also, no, it's a real fucking take. They're not responsible for someone using the knife to stab, but they have a fucking hand in it. How can you not say that that's not a part of people then? It's not like you could, look, because I'm going to offer some kind of like actual like philosophical validity to the take, which I do believe I'm giving you right now, doesn't mean I'm going to say we can just not have knives. We need to cut shit. We need knives. But yes, like they have a hand in whatever occurs. It's so stupid. Like the fact that you guys like Wake First L, do you think I'm saying knife companies create stabbings? No. But if there's not a knife to stab people with, it's harder to stab. It's like guns don't kill people, but when we give people guns, people do kill people with guns. Like there's a very clear way to track with this. Like I just don't get it. There's also no function for the gambling itself, you know, and like making it more accessible and platforming it and like having Drake be like, I love gambling. Come check me out on stake.com. I'm gonna play a game with inflated win percentages and walk away with a ton of money. It's super cool to gamble. Well, he sits silently. Like it's fun? No, it's not. You're just a fucking lab rat, dude. You're just a lab rat on a fucking morphine drip. It's not fun to sit there and spin a fucking wheel alone in a room. It's not. I've been addicted to shit, dude. I know, like I've never been addicted to a legitimate substance, but I've had behavioral addictions that have like I had to withdraw from university for a semester. Like I've done a lot of fucking asinine shit in my life. I can tell you wholeheartedly, you're not having fun as an addict. You're just not. And what gambling alone in a room on stake.com looks like isn't fun. It's just not. There's no engagement, there's no skill, there's no task. It's just you spinning a fucking slot. In no universe is that a fun thing. It's a literal fucking morphine drip. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't think that Stake.com, I think that Stake.com is built to create addicts. I do. And I think that if you act like their website isn't actively trying to find a way to cast the broadest net possible by like, how do we get kids who play Minecraft and 2K to start gambling? Because they know that the broader net they cast and the earlier they find people before they have any kind of lived experience or capacity to defend themselves from these kind of predatory neurostimulants, right? Like they're gonna fall victim to that shit. It's just not like, if I create a tool with a good purpose in mind, but some people just happen to use it for evil, it doesn't make me a bad person. No, I mean, like, look, a knife was designed to pierce. It's not a tool. I think, like, look, yes, we can deconstruct it and say that, like, all things are without function until we purpose them towards that function, you know? And that we have to go to the most base possible explanation for why something exists on, like, let's say, like, if we're trying to engage in, like, a philosophical discourse about what something is, you know? There are a ton of rabbit holes to go down. I'm not going to sit here and die on this fucking hill. I'm telling you that if you think that someone creating knives and profiting from the sale of knives doesn't have an interest in knives being a necessity for people, then you're wrong. In the same ways that gun manufacturers, arms manufacturers, they will hinge on the idea of a good guy with a gun and fucking international wars. Because those curate both government purchases and individual purchases, and they want people to buy their fucking product. They do. People are buying guns to defend themselves from other guns. Like, I don't get what you guys think is, like it's just so asinine how you guys are just, like, totally fucking ejecting from the possibility. What up, OG? Welcome in, dude.
WakeWilder.
Holy
thank you
shit,
for the content,
thank you so
Wake.
much, dude. That's
Stay
still a tier
wild.
3. My God, thank you, dude. Thank you. People who are platforming gambling are responsible for the addicts who then find their way to gambling, because everyone is aware of the fact that gambling has a very high risk profile, and that many of those who are going to partake in online gambling alone in a room are likely those who are looking for some kind of extreme neurochemical stimulus, and probably more likely to fall victim to this kind of. This isn't saying go to Vegas, go hang out with your friends in Vegas. It's why everything's so fucking everything's just about getting people to the casino. Whether you like it or not, and then the casino does the rest. Very few people who are actively returning to or seeking out the possibility of gambling do so responsibly. Many people do fuck up and make bad choices. Some people just don't have the purse to really ruin their fucking lives, but many people do. Picking a log with a wooden spoon? You're dead on. I agree. Should we ban gambling then? Yeah, we should definitely. I think that it would make a ton of sense for people to not welcome gambling in online online spaces like Twitch. I think Twitch made a good call. I think it's totally their prerogative. And there's a difference between should we ban gambling and should we make a business out of trying to essentially advertise and encourage gambling amongst impressionable audiences. You know what I mean? Of course, porn is banned on Twitch. There is not porn on Twitch. I don't get that. If you're gonna argue that like hot tub streams are porn adjacent, then like, you know, so we're like fucking loot boxes. You know, there's a degree to which we encourage legitimate engagement that's problematic. And porn is a weird thing to vilify outright. It's really odd. The majority of people who use porn do not have an addiction to porn. And you could argue the same for gambling, but gambling is a very clear like the risk profile and the ceiling of what goes wrong with gambling to me is much higher. But I don't think that you should ban porn. I don't even think that gambling should be banned. I think that gambling should be discussed more ardently about just how fucking harmful it is. And I think that those who want to go on to misrepresent it are problematic. Twitch only well, yeah, most companies are going to do that. Twitch isn't taking a moral stance. I don't believe Twitch to have that strong of a moral center, or any corporation for that matter. They go where money is, you know? And the, risk to total ad stimulus is way too high for Twitch. 100%. Poker's okay. I'm okay with poker. I think that if there's a game component to it, it's fine, but even still, I mean, I was I was approached to do poker, and I chose personally not to do it on the basis of, like, I stand very anti-gambling, and I don't want to encourage anyone to gamble. I would only take a poker sponsorship if I could actively say that I don't encourage this, and I don't have a code and do not do this. Poker's a fun game, and I'm going to play with, like, $50 today, and then when I run out, I'm done, you know? That's the only thing, but it is a game, and I do think that the fact that there's a skill component to poker is fine, but I'm not going to make my platform about it personally just because of how, against this I've stood. But I don't think that it's fundamentally, I don't think it's the fundamental, wait, you said it shouldn't be? What did I say? Poker? That poker shouldn't be on the platform? Poker I don't see as being like one-to-one with something like slots. I think that if there's something that can be actively gamified that isn't a game of strictly chance, it's fine. But even still, that's like a gray area that I wouldn't be upset if it was banned either. Does that make sense? But here's the thing. The gambling sponsor that I was presented with offered a lot of money. And I think if you are a critical thinker, you can probably be like, if I'm getting offered a lot, like an inordinate amount of money to platform something, it might be that it stands to profit to a comparable extent from what it is they're giving me. Do you know what I mean? And what would they be profiting from? And I think if you do that math in real time, you don't want to necessarily, encourage people to engage with it, you know? If I were to say something along the lines of, I don't believe in this, don't do it, I'm going to do this to make money and to take money from this company, I think that'd be okay, but I'm not going to actively encourage anyone to gamble or put money on something. I don't think that it's aligned with what I believe personally. That isn't to say that I think poker is a one-to-one comparison to any other form of gambling, personally. Maybe blackjack might be the next closest thing to it, because you can gamify blackjack as well and really, like, strategize around it. But anything that's a game of chance, I don't believe has a place in this kind of platform. I think that's wholly problematic, and that the very obvious, incentive for them is to cross-pollinate. They want to find ways to bring Minecraft audiences to gambling, 2K audiences to gambling. How do we get youth and youth culture interested in fucking throwing all the money they make away on this fucking, predatory, fucking, like, tourniquet thing? How can we find something that spins a bunch of numbers and symbols and shapes over and over and over again, like a fucking, what are those things, what the fuck do babies play with? They just have, like, shapes and you spin it. Like, it's so fucking based. It's so fucking, like, base, and it's, like, its instinct. It's so weird and, like, primitive, you know? It's like, do the symbols line up? Yes! No influence, no sense of skill, no sense of agency. It's just fucking asinine. Utterly fucking vacant to me. So no, I think that if you're taking, money, from Kick.com, you are doing so with, if not the full awareness, what should be the full awareness of the fact that you are making that kind of money because they are going to siphon more than that from your viewers, or from the people you attract to the platform and in turn onto Stake.com to then throw money away. And gambling is fundamentally, it's neurochemically predatory. It's designed to keep you there. It's designed to siphon as much money from you as possible, and they do a very, very good job of it. It's socially isolative. It's not gambling in a casino. It's gambling alone in a dark room on a website with no overhead, no sense of engagement, no sense of social interconnectedness, nothing. During your streams, you've been, hey, I appreciate that a lot, man. I learned a lot from tuning in. Thank you so much, camaraderie. I appreciate the kind words, dude. Thank you. So yeah, it's just asinine. Like Train's insistence that there's some kind of, like, moral high ground to stake paying creators more is totally negligent. It's willfully negligent of the reality that they're able to pay their creators more because they are actively exploiting their viewership by funneling them into a neurochemically predatory dopamine treadmill, something that's designed to encourage addiction and an actively, disadvantageous to outright harmful behaviors, to the ends of their own profit. You know, they know the odds, they know what they're encouraging, and they know how much money they make disproportionately from a handful of individuals who are woefully addicted, and that's the whole point. They're not just giving people more money because they can. They're giving people more money because they're exploiting to the greatest and most fundamentally predatory capacity the people that you bring to the website. So if you're willing to do everything in your power to throw your viewers under the bus and to encourage more people to find you and this website so that they too can get run over by the same bus, then I think that it's fine. But to act as if it's some kind of moral high ground or that the platform is in any way superior to what Twitch is doing, which is, by the way, just being in every way, by the way, standard, like, plutocratic adjacent, self-interested corporate nothingness. It's just them trying to find new ways to make as much money for the people at the very top, and it does make sense, but Twitch is also just not fucking profitable because live streaming's expensive. And Amazon, same shit. They're going to find ways to exploit and ravage other populaces in the name of procuring a very clear, let's say, like, a commodity that we pretend as if we have, like, a choice relationship to, but we really don't. Most people are making so little money, they're going to go where the most convenient and the cheapest option is. To create something that is either cheaper or more convenient means exploiting someone in the process. And that's why it'll never be... That's why Amazon will forever be, ethically reprehensible. But the reality of Amazon being ethically reprehensible is that, like, it is a manifestation of a system in which, like, that's just what this is, like, capitalism's inevitable end state. It's almost like the necessary fucking wrong that has to occur. Not defending it, it's a fucking problem, but it's like literally what will cause the fucking proletariat, like the working class, to be like, fuck this, we can't do, like they are suffocating and consuming the world in real time. And that's the trajectory it's on. And it's just late stage capitalism. A total exploitation, extraction, and dehumanization of those who create surplus value for them. Is make it unprofitable to compete with Amazon? Yes. Well, that's late-stage capitalism. And how it is they make it unprofitable is via exploitation, mind you. That's the only way you can do that. It's via increasingly significant exploitation. That's it. That is the only fucking way. Period. And again, then you can consider the realities of, like, taxing the unimaginable wealth adjacent to it in the ways that, like, Amazon's delivery services are also, like, tarnishing road infrastructure and how expensive road infrastructure is to repair. The fact that money's going to keep going to repairing road infrastructure rather than creating more, let's say, like, sustainable infrastructure or something that would lead to a healthier, more like, human-centric city design, like trains, subways, trams. Anything that actually encourages public transportation is all going to get funneled to just repairing and building new roads. And then also simultaneously, we have to consider the emissions, adjacent to that entire chain of production and provision. We have to then consider, the fucking automobile lobby and everything that goes into that in turn as well. That's always going to be adjacent to oil and gas lobby. I mean, like, it's all fucking... it's a plutocracy that exploits the world and the people who inhabit it to the ends of the excess of, like, 500 people, and it's a fucking shame. However, at the very least, I can rest knowing that every time I go live, I speak against it, and the reason I'm paid is, yo, what up, Canute? What up, dog? I'm not trying to funnel people to a fundamentally predatory paradigm meant to siphon as much of the wealth or whatever saved money the working class may have back into the pockets of individuals who are trying to essentially use, predatory, it's legitimate, like, neurochemical manipulation to try to get you to give as much money as possible. It's the whole game. So no, I think it's absolutely morally reprehensible and the absolute fucking bottom of the barrel to me. Gotcha's poker and slots at the same time. Gotcha's awful, by the way. Gotcha's terrible. I think there are actually really, like, interesting ethical considerations to Gotcha as like a platform or as a game. It's super interesting. Yo, what up, Raiders? Welcome in. Hi, sweet Canute. I hope you're doing well, baby. In a sense, people who... Yeah, it is really hard. It's super duper hard. What is happening in Ohio right now with the toxic chemicals from the train derailment? What happened? I don't even know. The truth is people pretend that they want to use public transportation, but when they're... I don't think that's really the case, man. I think that's only for individuals who have, like, open enough streets to where driving is reasonable. Most people don't want to sit in traffic ad infinitum, and a lot of people actually do enjoy well-organized, well-designed public transportation infrastructure. In fact, most of the world outside of, like, the United States, not most of the world, but most of, like, developed, urban infrastructure is contingent on efficient public transportation. Ohio's playing VR Fallout 5 on hard mode, but in reality without the VR. No shit. Wait, do we have anything on that? If someone has a good link, I'll go check it out. I gotta piss real quick though, okay? So give me a minute. Yo. Okay, so what happened in Ohio? Let's look at this. Hold on. So, there were more toxic chemicals on train that derailed in Ohio than originally reported. Wait, what the fuck? Okay. Let's see. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Look at that. State health officials were initially concerned about the presence of vinyl chloride, a highly volatile, colorless gas produced for commercial uses, which spilled after about 50 cars on the Norfolk Southern Railroad train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio. Fucking Palestine? What? On February 3rd. What the Palestinians do to Ohio? I promise you, people are going to be so fucking bewildered by that. Palestine. Ohio on February 3rd, while traveling from Illinois to Pennsylvania. Other toxins like phosgene, not sure, and hydrogen chloride were emitted in large plumes of smoke during a controlled release. And what in the fuck, man? This is a disaster. Mandatory evacuation on 1 mile radius of the crash site? Holy shit. Look at what happened to the fucking cars, too. Look at just how fucking incinerated and like eroded they look. That's insane. Holy shit. Among the substances were ethylene glycol, monobutyl, butyl, I'm not sure. Ethyl hexyl acrylate and isobutylene, sure. It's not getting reported on because the news is getting arrested to cover up. What do you mean the news is getting arrested? My uncle is a mayor of a town called Moscow, and he got a lot of angry emails from confused boomers when... like how they're like, let's get the mayor of Moscow. Holy shit. Railroad workers predicted this years ago. One of the reasons they went on strike. What was their rationale? So what was the cause? Hold on. A carcinogen can cause burning, irritation of the skin. Eyes, inhalation can irritate the nose, throat. Yeah, okay. So you don't want to breathe that one in. Not ideal to inhale. Inhalation of isobutylene can cause dizziness and drowsiness as well, while exposure to ethylene glycol monobutyl ether can cause irritation on the eyes, skin, nose, and throat, as well as hematuria or blood in the urine. Jesus fuck. Yeah, Biden broke the railroad worker strike literally 2 months ago, and alas, look what happened. It's almost as if unions are advocating for not just their best interest, but in many ways the long-form interests of everyone who depends upon the workers in question, and that they have a more intimate understanding of what could be an imminent disaster or what's detrimental to their health, longevity, well-being, etc. Maybe workers are really salient representations of the interests of everyone who depends on workers, and that we should look into what it is workers need. But no. We need to get the asshole who was born into a family of unimaginable wealth return on his investment. And it's most important that we give him all that money and never tax it. All right? Because it's all going to trickle down. You just wait. It's all going to trickle down when he, finds a way to pass the entirety of his wealth back onto everyone who's coming up in his family. Taxless. They did control burn-off. That town also says, unionization is one of the sole recourses we have at present to, protect or at least move towards a more equitable world. It's essentially people recognizing that through collective action we have unimaginable power. We really do. To change the, trajectory of the world in our, present socioeconomic and political circumstances. But unionization, collective action, these systems require, a populace to be exploited, and the reality of collective action means that, like, people will eventually have to bend the knee in the event that they cannot get done what it is they need to get done to continue to live in their position of privilege. The minute that the outrage grows too strong, position of power becomes very precarious because they realize that, to be given power requires subservience of something or someone, even if it's the military alone. Someone has to be actively supporting or defending someone's right to power. Independently, no one can hold that kind of influence. So through collective action, you have the capacity to change things. Don't forget it. When you have issues in your community or in your place of work, speak with your coworkers and, find ways to, collectively, revolt against the imperatives impressed upon you. The single most productive thing you can do, unquestionably. No, Felix, I'm being sarcastic. Redistributing wealth is absolutely equitable. The reality is that redistributing wealth isn't necessarily what it is you want. You don't want to just redistribute money. You want to essentially create, you want to tax back infrastructure. You want to tax back so much wealth that you can build equitable infrastructure that makes it such that individuals aren't punished for the circumstances of their birth. And instead are provided, totally equal and valid terrain in pursuit of the, skills and opportunities, all provided, by the way, I should say more so the skills and the capacity to distinguish one's ability amongst their peers in an actually equitable capacity, not something that's fundamentally influenced by the total number of, resources or advantages you're given on the basis of who it is you were born into. I don't believe that wealth redistribution is going to be essential in the event that you can, tax away surplus value such that we're going to either create a more equitable environment for individuals who are being, exploited to the point where exploitation is no longer a concern, and that should just encourage people to essentially elevate and provide some kind of, worker ownership to those who do procure wealth for them. But I think ultimately workers, being, those who ultimately determine and then in turn determine the trajectory of and share the value of their collective labor in an equitable capacity is the ideal. But yeah, again, creating more let's say efficient and updated infrastructure, especially by way of education, and alleviating the punitive nature of poverty via proper stimulus, community programs, social programs, etc., is essential to, and also unionization will ensure that people are able to at least fight for fair pay and opportunity. But yeah, nationalizing a great deal of infrastructure that's been privatized is massive. Massive. Trying to pay the town an amount of damages, counting $5 per person in the town. So fucking, again, they're gonna provide the absolute lowest barrier, the absolute lowest bar possible. Because nothing about this present system is about looking to the best interest of those who create the value. It's about finding ways to take as much value as possible for oneself, and to, essentially maximize the amount of tolerable exploitation such that you are able to make more profitable the product you create and sell. That's it. Let's see. Residents may smell odors from the site, suggesting that those experiencing any symptoms call their medical provider. And so many people can't leave. Like, they can't afford to. It's like, this is also the ways that poverty is so punitive, you know? It's like they need to work. One day off could make it such that they can't pay their bills, you know? It could lead to eviction, which could lead to the destabilization of their home, you know? Like their family, their fucking children not being able to go to school. There's like the fucking ripple effect of this is so fucking unimaginably punitive for people who can't pay their way out of it. Residents may still smell odors from the site. Okay, EPA also screened 291 homes near the crash site and has not detected any levels of vinyl chloride or hydrogen chloride. Holy shit. Had a patient that was evac'd and tried to go straight home from the shelter when they said they could. He actually had to stop and wait for a train to go past Main Street. They had trains running right after they gave the all clear. That's fucking insane. A lawsuit filed by 2 residents of East Palestine on February 9th called for the rail operator to pay first medical screenings and related care for anyone within a 30-mile radius of the crash site. Imagine that. Some of the toxins spilled into the Ohio River. Oh, fuck. Near the northern panhandle of West Virginia, causing officials to shut down water production in the area and transfer to an alternative source of... Holy shit, dude. It tainted a major water source. That's fucking awful. Well, Justice emphasized that everything is fine here due to the immediate action from agencies like the State Department of Environmental Protection and the National Guard. Water utility company West Virginia American Water is continuing to enhance its water treatment process as a precaution. Fuck. Okay. This is absolutely fucking horrid. Should I move out of a state adjacent to Ohio now? I think generally speaking, the further you are from Ohio, the better off things are. But if you can't afford to, I wouldn't. I mean, I am in no way an environmental expert or a chemist. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not you should be doing this or moving away. But it seems as if it might be in your best interest based on what this looks like. Is this will have a sort of like radiating, no pun intended, but I mean like it will radiate outward the whole scope of impact. Yeah, and in all likelihood, a lot of these people are going to struggle to be able to move and uproot as their lives are here, their families, where their kids go to school, where it is they make their money. And at a point of impending fucking, economic, the fucking cataclysm. This is so tough, man. The death clause now Ohio State. Fuck, man, we need to go back to Fallout soon, eh? We've been out of the running. We've been out of the rat race, man. Water utility installed a secondary intake to make the dude. This is fucking horrid. I am fucking, yeah, that's awful. Again, this is it's all going to come down to the ways in which they can essentially prevent having to give any appreciable amount of stimulus or monetary compensation to these people, and that's going to be the whole fucking gambit from here on out. Let's put more funding into the military. Freight train carrying hazardous chemicals, including... yeah, so fucking tough, man. This is going to cost the government millions, too. Well, good. Hopefully the government finds a way to address the issues with the government's own negligence. Dude, so many things. Like the privatization of a necessary infrastructure is so fucking frustrating. I mean, unionization is such a clear path to procuring, if anything, a better compensated and less exploited workforce, and it's a good thing. And it'll also help with addressing very necessary issues that essentially intercept profit, having to modernize or look after things. A lot of people will wait until things reach an absolute boiling point before they invest any amount of money into updating necessary infrastructure, because when necessary infrastructure becomes something that people profit through or from, you have a kind of a tricky predicament there, right? Because people are going to find ways to, in this present system, maximize the return that they give to those who invest, right? That is their literal legal imperative. So yeah, Texas power grid. It's like, what do you mean it's fine? Just stuffing more clothes under the bed until the thing's a fucking 6-inch lift. Eventually, you have to address the growing concern. Was capitalism more humane in 1900s? In theory, capitalism will have never been more humane. Capitalism at its core is a fundamentally inhumane process. Like, there's just no... because it provides the illusion of choice. You have no choice but to interface with these prevailing companies on the basis of the wealth that essentially you're able to procure based on how much these companies are willing to pay you. It's like you can't like really vote with your dollar when your dollar is so limited that you're going with whatever's most affordable. And whatever's most affordable is likely coming from the thing that's most exploitative. It's really bad, man. It's really, really bad. However, was capitalism more humane in the 1900s? I'd say humane isn't really the way to think of it. Capitalism was never humane and always predicated on exploitation, but there was, it is, the further we progress through capitalism, the less equitable it's going to be. Humane was never really a point of the question. It was never really the thing that mattered. But nationalized industry is not necessarily better kept, hugely inefficient, no incentive to innovate. Totally false. In fact, almost every major innovation that you presently enjoy came from the public sector and just just giving stimulus to individuals who are actively working in the public sector. You just come here to, so many people come here to just like be contrarian and like, we will go through like these same arguments back and forth. Like, it's insane to me. People do have reason to innovate. In fact, many things that are nationalized by way of infrastructure and industry are probably the things that are on the bleeding edge of innovation, and that those that you see as being innovative aren't innovating for profit. They're actually co-opting innovations from public sector and commodifying it into something that you then purchase. They're not creating. The actual innovation. They're just repurposing it to personal use. Quality of life of every citizen over... Well, yeah, sure. Capitalism in the 19th century was built on slavery and conquest, so no. Yeah. I mean, the 1900s as well. I mean, not really slavery in the 1900s, but certainly exploitation. I mean, there was always an element of conquest. Why do most countries choose capitalism, though? Most countries choose capitalism because capitalism was an unquestionable improvement upon feudalism and pre-existing systems, and in many ways, according to most theorists, absolutely necessary as well. Marx himself would say that progressing through capitalism is essential to arriving at the infrastructure and ability to create what could then be a more equitable, socialist to communist, society. An alternative to capitalism is more of like a Demsoch protocol that focuses on enhancing, the quality of life of the average citizen via more, aggressive taxation of the extreme wealth that's able to be procured via late-stage capitalism and the quasi-monopoly that it creates. So it's just greater degrees of government intervention, the nationalization of essential infrastructure, and things that slowly progress to the ends of workers ultimately, finding themselves in a position of engaging in collective ownership and having a firm grasp on the socioeconomic processes that kind of govern their lives and all the lives beyond. And executives are still workers. I mean, like, all these things exist. It's just more so when realizing that we'll slowly, and this is what has to happen over time, is that we have been more or less fundamentally manipulated into believing that, and this is what capitalism's done a really good job of, that the ways in which we are compensated for our labor is a direct reflection of the value of our labor, when the value of all of these processes is fundamentally essential to the curation of that profit to begin with. No, like, the idea that your value should come from, I think having a prestigious position that involves extremely technical craft should be social reward in and of itself, and that demonstrating true expertise and mastery should be where it is we derive that sense of excellence, not from being able to buy 5 houses you don't live in. And that over time, the more that we chip away at these very rigid expectations of, we identify ability and value based on how much excess they procure is essential to ever really reprogramming how it is we go about trying to identify and create our own sense of meaning in life, right? Like, providing something that's valuable to the collective shouldn't involve you then curating so much excess for yourself that it becomes a detriment to the collective. It should be about, and that's also not the thing that capitalism does. Capitalism just kind of, it synthesizes desire. It synthesizes via incredible, like almost like disproportionate effort towards marketing and advertising a need for something that they do not need. It's not about providing what's necessary. It's about creating what's superfluous and making it seem as if it's necessary to have. And that's deeply, deeply problematic, longitudinally especially, because now we have a whole generation of people who, through time, have seen excess as this like necessary end goal, but in a society that can produce plenty, that can produce enough to ensure there's no scarcity, right? We no longer have need for independent excess because we have social frameworks that make it such that excess alone isn't this kind of value. If anything, it's counter to the well-being of the world. But when you don't have those those social safety nets, excess is the greatest indicator of let's say, like, invulnerability to collapse. And so that's a massive point of consideration. But I think ultimately, like, once we make it such that that's no longer something that people should consider, people won't aspire to step on all the heads they can to ensure that they don't go down with the ship. They'll know that the ship is staying afloat, and because it was made by the people who need it to stay afloat, not by, let's say, someone who's trying to find a way to maximize potential profit, and will cut corners where they can cut corners, so on and so forth. And that's kind of, that's not really where it is. I want to ground a metaphor. The ship's not really relevant to this. The point is, moreover, that in a system that can recognize the value of achievement in the absence of monetary reward, we'll have a more equitable world that doesn't necessarily cease to innovate, you know? Because a lot of what we're doing is just to make our collective happy with us. Like, that's it. A lot of people feel like they need to make money so that people like them, you know? So that women want to sleep with them, and then men think they're cool because they have a cool car. Then they sleep with women, you know, because don't forget, you have to be, a prolific coxman to have any semblance of value in male social hierarchy, which is asinine, in my opinion, to even suggest, and very much, and again, based on these really, predatory messaging frameworks that we've created about where value is derived. But no, I think we're getting close to the potential to create enough. Thank you for gifting everybody. I appreciate that. Wait, the issue with expecting government to regulate is that people in the government also want to be on top, and as such, they're not incentivized to create equity unless that. But they're victims of this same kind of capitalist, framework in which we have insisted upon, and that's why they're literally like taking things and passing things like Citizens United, etc., so they can line their pockets with corporate stimulus. So that way people think that they're cool and they have value. Like, so much of this is about just procuring wealth. And yes, when the, processes of legislation and governance are fundamentally eroded by corporate interest, those who are looking to serve corporate interest find their way into those processes of government and legislation. Like, it's all dripping from the same spout, you know? How do you view billionaires? Do you have to ask me, or do you kind of know? I don't think anyone should be able to procure that much wealth, ever. They are never responsible solely for what it is they've profited from. And to make that much money is undoubtedly, the product of unimaginable exploitation, greed, and personal interests. Would you prefer socialism? I'd prefer a dem-soc system that makes such effective infrastructure and educational resources and opportunity that we, over time, will create a system that's wholly socialist and eventually communist. Yeah. I think that is the ideal trajectory for society, to arrive at a place where, the ability to procure excess resources is no longer what it is we see as being the ultimate virtue, and instead it's the good that we provide to the world as a collective to ensure collective fulfillment, betterment, and ultimate liberty. And I do believe that we're capable of doing it once we no longer try to leverage the possibility of scarcity as a means of, encouraging action. But I don't think that we become socialist tomorrow. I think that it's a longitudinal system. No one has ever suggested that. Karl Marx or any actually effective communist, theorist has ever suggested that we just say, now we're communist, now we're socialist. It's a gradual transition to essentially not state-run, mind you, but people-run, worker-run, and in a world that doesn't necessarily leverage scarcity, we can actually tend to the well-being of the individual, because we know that we'll have enough ad infinitum. That's what matters. Inherent desire to conquer, we don't have that. That's all a matter of essentially running from scarcity and needing to procure as much as possible for fear of inevitable scarcity. But once we find ways to create frameworks that alleviate that fear, the need to conquest does leave. The need to those things do actually fucking unravel. I don't believe that there's just a need to conquer. I think there's a fear of being conquered, a fear of not having enough, a fear of running out. I think that's what dictates a lot of this. I think that it's just a leveraged fear of like, what if we don't have enough at some point, and so you get as much as you can while you can, people said it to me all the time with streaming too, and I'd be smart to, but I'm not going to compromise my platform. I'd rather just run out of a platform. I don't think my life's that important. Like, I'd like to be able to live it with relative stability, but I'm going to die at some point, and I'm not going to live a life that I loathe. And I have a privilege in that, I live in a really great environment. But I think that, you can replicate to some extent the ideology that you want to, but I still have to make money. It's like, I can't like not make money ultimately, but I'm not going to like exploit people in the process of trying to make more money. When I'd stand, wholly in opposition to it. So finding ways to be as at peace with how it is you're going about making your living is a really important thing. It's really important. Call me jaded, but I don't trust a system where we rely on other people to be fair. It goes against human nature. Don't argue human nature if you can't define it, and no one can. We're largely socialized people that just rely on essentially collective harmony. I think that collective harmony is what we're going for, and whatever kind of like prevailing imperatives we have for survival then determine what our values are. Like when the only way to make money was through like acts of conquest or like, let's say like real like resilience kind of thing, like we can only make money through like physical labor. Strength is going to be exalted, and so then we say strength is the ideal thing to be because that's what's ideal for actually procuring new income, right? So yes, I get what you're saying, but we all rely on people no matter what. We are communal creatures. Our survival strategies around reliance on others goes against human nature because we evolved to want more as more. No, that's why I don't think you listen. People don't listen. They just type out their fucking paragraph. I'm describing why does I actually think that that's occurring and why I think that you can create systems that mitigate that fear. Now, when you mitigate that fear, what it is we're calling human nature erodes because once we have the ability to procure enough through collective action, we're fine. You're not relying on other people. We're relying on each other in a way. That's what we've always done. It's what you're doing in all of these systems. You're relying on someone paying you for your labor in the event that you do it. You don't get paid beforehand. You're always relying on someone. You're always putting faith in a system. You've just been essentially actively, I don't want to say brain, you've been educated to believe that this is the sole option you have access to. I'd rather have the downsides of capitalism than the downsides of any alternative system. Why would you say that? What do you think the downsides of these systems are? The downsides of capitalism are I don't even think you can really look at it with clear eyes because the downsides of capitalism are literally all of the exploitation, devastation, destruction, injustice that occurs globally. We live in a capitalist paradigm. All the injustice and death that occurs happens in pursuit of capital right now. All of it. You can't argue like the failings of a fucking embargoed fucking island in the Caribbean as being in any way, shape, or form a good insight into the shortcomings of a system that has been actively, exiled by global trade. There's just it's so hard to really have a grounded take on how fucking devastating capitalism is to the well-being of humanity, especially considering just how effective we are at creating surplus, how we literally throw things away because we make more than we need, or we throw things away because we make more than, we can make profitable, right? So when it's no longer profitable for us to procure all this fucking wealth that we're able to procure now, like all of these commodities, we literally, we throw shit away so that we keep demand down. Rather than feeding people, there's so many injustices at present. I don't think you've really thought about just how pervasive the failings of capitalism are. In a weird way, that's kind of what capitalism would suggest, Quan. I mean, if your job in capitalist schemas is to make as much for as little as possible, the same logic would then apply into labor, you know? It's just not built on, the sense of innovation. It's not built on even a willingness to try. It's like, how do I exploit? It makes the ultimate value profit, and profit doesn't mean innovation. It doesn't mean improvement. It means exploitation. How do I make the price of something higher and the cost of creating it lower? That's it. That's the ultimate good in a system that exalts capital. Whereas we could very, very realistically have a system that creates social currency on the basis of your, very tangible contributions to collective welfare. We're really just people looking to be affirmed and not be at risk. And if we can create a system that doesn't put us at risk and that prioritizes collective, contribution, care, and consideration, we undoubtedly, I do believe that we'll always have some sense of hierarchy. I don't think that I think that we'll have people who we admire. And I think the system that the lens that we look through on the, by virtue of what capitalism tells us to exalt, what is good because of what saves us from, risk or death. That's really specific, because that's about creating excess. So I think that there are a lot of ways to guide human action, and it has a lot to do with what kind of cultural imperatives we put forth. I think that we see that we'll align with whatever it is we believe the world needs. And when we tell the world that we need more money, or we need people who make a lot of money because they'll create a great thing, it's really normally not that. It's not about creating something. It's about how do I make as profitable as possible something that I convince people they need, which is very different, So I think it's a lot about shifting value systems over time, which does take a lot of effort, a lot of labor. But that's essentially not exactly a far cry, It's just like, how do we essentially first eliminate the threat of scarcity and address just how much surplus we actually produce. And once we start to make it such that individuals don't have to procure excess to be stable and happy, where does value come from is much more socialized, right? It's like, what do we decide is valuable? What do we decide we should encourage people to do? You don't have to make billions of dollars from your technological innovation to be recognized and celebrated for it. And being a person who contributed meaningfully, I think will undoubtedly bring with it a ton of appreciation, care, and consideration, I do think that that's always something that will, to some extent, exist, but it also doesn't moralize your absence of wealth, and it also can make very clear how essential the process of creating all of those processes is to the well-being of the other person. We will always need, until we can automate all labor, there will always be someone who is essential to that process that they're trying to justify not paying, But that business will not work without those people as well. It doesn't matter how great your idea is. Your idea will always be built on the backs of endless individuals' contributions to the information that preceded it. And then moreover, whatever it is you then go on to do to materialize that in real time is going to stem from, fundamentally, guys, will stem from, the labor of others that are creating the product, So no. Anyways, I don't know what it is we were talking about, but glad we got to do that. I don't know what led us there. Seeing what I get paid versus what clients get charged for 1 hour of my work makes me want to quicken the collapse. Yeah, I mean, that's surplus value. I mean, that is the value of your labor being exploited in every regard. It's absolutely heinous. What did Malphite say? I don't do that. I treat people regardless of their there are a lot of layers to that. Can we start turning people out and get to good content? Of course, yeah, we can time people out. I'm cool with it. But yeah, I think we kind of touched over it to the best of my ability. I wish that people would come in here and actually recognize I don't want to keep beating a dead horse because you're not offering me new insights, You kind of don't listen to anything I say half the time. A lot of the people who do come in here and just actively play devil's advocate or needlessly contrarian, I've yet to see someone provide a new thing. And I keep track of the people who are actively poking at the issue. I know what your retorts are. and I wish that it felt more fruitful to engage with you. And I get that I might not be communicating it in a way that's convincing to you. Totally makes sense. I just encourage you to pay greater attention to the ideologies that oppose yours.
Thank you so much. Best friend.
Yo, what up, Ivar? Welcome in. And thank you for the 7, man. That's huge. And do your very best to like honor your lack of understanding, if that makes sense. You know. I think it's the single best thing you can do as a thinker is to best understand your opposition. And you can't meaningfully argue for your stance if you don't understand the stances that oppose you, you know? And so we get in these weird circular arguments where people will just return to these kind of like, not even real straw men, but like totally unproductive, almost like cliche, oppositions to, really well. I don't think I'm delineating it perfectly, but like, I know that a lot of the theory I'm giving you is pretty like fucking academic in nature. Like it is like well conceived. Even if, and I'll always have a shortcoming. I don't know if I'm perfect at communicating. I try my very best. But I wish that people would evolve their argument to actually counter what I'm saying rather than just like a pull string, essentially regurgitating the same point over and over again, you know? Where like I try to take a point and actively argue why I disagree with that point. I think that the best thing you can do is at least ask questions about why I'm presenting what I'm presenting in the ways that it might confuse you. Or be like, but what about this? What about that? Guiding discourse via your own absence of understanding on where it is you're not getting what I'm saying is important. And it doesn't mean I really know everything here, but just engage with and read opposing theory and try to see what it is you can, best understand through those processes, because I think it's super, super, super important to, like, you have to understand your opposition. And I'm not telling you have to agree with me, but I'm willing to bet the more you look into the injustices of capitalism and the ways in which capital has essentially, created a world that is, fueled with essentially the blood and viscera and death and decay and exploitation of the working people, the majority of people, the more you'll start to understand why so many people are so ardently against capitalism as an enduring system, and why you can recognize its productivity in opposition to pre-existing systems without saying that it must then be the perfect thing forever, because it clearly isn't. And this ever-growing sense of inequity has to start becoming something that you pay attention to. What country best exemplifies the kind of system you desire? As far as, like, the kind of system I desire, like, there's nothing that exemplifies, like, communist ideology. But Socialdem systems, especially like Finland, I think does a really good job of it. They prioritize public education and essential infrastructure in a way that I think has very clearly led to a far more fulfilled and productive environment, especially all the way down to how it is they go about imprisonment and rehabilitation. Finland does a great job of structuring their society, and it's a much smaller society, mind you, and there are less variables to consider. It's not to say it's ever going to be a perfect, like, okay, let's structure everything as Finland does, but we work towards that over time via meaningful legislation and educative efforts. But I do believe that removing private industry from essential infrastructure is a great start. And looking more into what it is Finland does well infrastructurally, and how that goes on to then encourage not just a sense of well-being, but a sense of equality, because through essential infrastructure, people are now given the opportunity to access the same tier of education with the same kind of personal liberties, freedoms, ability to study, etc., is essential to creating generations of individuals who aren't disparaged on the basis of the poverty that they were born into, because that poverty becomes cyclical just as wealth does. It's easier to compound generational wealth in an exponential capacity via, essentially just like off-the-hip investment into dog shit ideas. It's hard to really lose money when you have enough of it. Just like it's hard to really make money when you have so little of it. And so we have to start considering the ways in which that creates, a very low floor and a very high ceiling in a way that's just fundamentally unjust at the expense of anything that would make possible, social or economic mobility. It's not worth pointing out, let's say, like, anomalies, like these feel-good stories of someone who came from poverty into something. There's always a degree of luck in things working in their favor in that regard, and I think that the best thing to do is to recognize that we shouldn't require luck to receive an not just adequate but excellent education. That should be something that's encouraged, and we should be doing everything in our power to provide context for focus and achievement in those arenas, 100%. 150%. It shouldn't do that. Like, at the end of the day, if you have to, essentially, like, I have a follow-up question. How do I feel about gun control? I'll touch back on that in a sec. If I don't, please let me know. The Scandinavian countries are doing something right. I mean, they're very rich in natural resources, and they engage in capitalism in a global capacity. But that is the best next step for, creating social safety nets and essential infrastructure that ensure, if nothing else, a life of dignity for everyone. And I don't believe that total equality is something that you can just arrive at. I think that there's a lot of, like, fundamental rewiring about, like, our value systems and value judgments that we have to partake in, and that involves a lot of the, dismantling of this fiction of, like, if you make a lot of money, then you're valuable. A lot of people make a lot of money while providing nothing of value to the world whatsoever. In fact, they typically take away from both the ecological or environmental stability as well as the social and economic stability of both the planet and the people who inhabit it. So there are a lot of problems there, intrinsic to it. Let's see. What did I miss? So, gun control. For Norway, not Finland and Sweden regarding natural resources. That's a good point as well. I'm speaking more to Norway because I know I've spoken on Norway a number of times, but I believe Finland to have, to me, one of the most impressive systems, especially in the ways that they've prioritized and reinvented education on an infrastructural level. I think that is going to lead to an explosion of productivity and value. And I mean productivity in a sense that, like, isn't inhibiting, like, productivity because we're able to, like, maximize what it is we're capable of achieving in reasonable time frames, not to continue working ad infinitum with that elevated productivity, because that's what's most asinine about capitalism is, like, productivity should serve to essentially, like, enhanced productivity should serve to diminish the amount of total time worked so we have more time to be. But we're not doing that. We're just encouraging more time and increasing productivity to essentially, further the exploitation of both human capital and ecological resources. Gun control. Where was that? How do I feel about gun control? I would like to live in a world without guns. I think that there should be really stringent background checks, and you should have to go through pretty extreme classes, ensuring that you're not only capable of wielding one, but wielding one responsibly if you ever want to own a firearm. I don't believe it's worth obsessing over the tyranny of governance. I don't believe that at present it's the most essential thing. But that being said, I also believe that there might be a time in which you go far enough left and you start to return to a sense of needing gun control, and there is something to consider. But I believe without, like, essentially a conversion of the military to the, will of the people, I think it'd be hard to ever really rise against a military. Marx would argue that you need to have guns. I think Marx wrote that theory when it was actually viable to have a militia. I'm not sure if we've really made it to that end. It would take the people who work at, like, Raytheon and things of that nature to want to start arming the citizens against the military. So I'm not sure. I don't believe that the ownership of gun. I would like to build a world that doesn't require the ownership of a gun, because theft, burglary, robbery, etc. are no longer crimes that occur on the basis of need. Because there'd be no real reason to steal in a more equitable society with total, abundance. So it's more about addressing the infrastructural reasons for crime, and in turn, like, I guess, like, the paranoia surrounding a need to own a gun that I'd want to address first and foremost. But I do believe that gun control is proven to be effective by way of, like, total, like, violent deaths per capita in most countries that have implemented it. Military is the people. How many countries would the military turn on the people in? I mean, it's happened. They just call them insurgents. They call them terrorists. They call them guerrilla warfare, guerrilla fighters. It happens often that the will of the people is subjugated by military intervention, especially foreign military intervention, a la, like, let's say, like the United States, creating insurrections of otherwise, like, totally, like, we've done it plenty of times, to destabilize socialist or communist regimes. That being said, To what extent the military would turn on the people? I mean, of a specific country? Be tough to say. I'm not totally sure. I think that it just takes the right amount of propaganda to consider uprisings as being, just that, and not like the will of the people being, suffocated by the imperatives of capital. Banning guns is a win for bad guys? I don't really think so, man. I don't think that any real statistic confirms that. I don't believe that a lot of crime gets stopped from people owning guns. In fact, if you have really interesting statistics, combating that, you can feel free to show me. But I don't think that people not having guns is in any way, shape, or form actually proliferating, more crime. I think most countries show that quite the opposite effect occurs. When riots get out of hand, the military won't be enough, so the WF will send their goons. Interesting. You're going to get in a gunfight with someone trying to steal your $25,000 car? Shit's not worth it. Yeah, I mean, it's the extent to which that occurs that's problematic. Like why people feel the need to draw a gun is typically to stop a poor person from trying to take something that a poor person should be given by, essential infrastructure, or moreover, something that, should have been able to be navigated long ago because we would have provided, adequate, mental health resources to those who would be in need of it, but because they were born in an area that made that such, let's say like intervention or oversight, fiscally prohibitive, they never found a way to getting help or diagnosis, and, were just seen as problematic and ultimately went off the deep end. Get rid of the U.S. military, the U.S. would get destroyed in a week. I mean, we were talking about gun control and gun ownership. At present, yeah, I mean, if we got rid of all guns, the U.S. wouldn't get destroyed in a week, though. It's only if the U.S. military was like, I guess we won't own guns. It's the same reason I own a gun. I live in a gun-owning world. I would gladly surrender my gun. I don't want to feel like I have to own a gun. And me having a gun will not protect me. It won't. I have no reason to own it. I really don't. It's just like it feels compulsory. No, I have it in a safe in storage. I don't have a gun in this house. I don't actually use it. I bought a gun a while ago when I had my own place. I just have one pistol. But no, it does not live here. And no, you should not feel the need to own a gun to protect yourself from gun ownership. In fact, that's the majority of why people feel the need to purchase guns, And it's why this same propaganda that you've consumed is really just another way for arms manufacturers to sell military-grade equipment to not military-grade, obviously, but, they need to find a way to sell shit to people. They want to be profitable. I don't think you get it. Like capital and profit controls all of this. You need to own a gun. They tell you need to own a gun in the U.S. because other people own guns. Bad guys own guns. But bad guys also get guns through very legitimate means. It's like it's hard to predict. Adequate, really robust background checks are definitely essential. I don't believe that the United States, the country, is going to turn in all their guns. I think that's going to be a really tough thing. I think over time it would occur. But at the core of it all, I think that gun control is in every way essential, and I think the delusion of the people thinking that they're going to fight against the force of the military is insane. I believe that if the government started to subjugate the people using the military, that in all likelihood, I don't think that would endure ad infinitum, I believe that hopefully people would become a bit the wiser over time if we were serving a despot. In fact, the downfall of the majority of great people comes from internal insurrection on a military level, right? Or not great people, but let's say powerful dictators is more of what I mean to say, right? What actually, subverts that power is typically the people they command turning against them. And that's probably what it is you'd need. I don't think that people who own a gun are going to, in any way, shape, or form, prevent crime from occurring, and that the odd event in which it happens largely outweighs the number of crimes committed with guns that are purchased on a consumer level. So I just don't think there's any way to really defend it. I think that to be like, what would happen if the U.S. military gave all their guns away? I mean, that's kind of an asinine argument. What do you mean? Yeah, the U.S. also, holds its hegemony via, essentially the threat of military intervention, ultimately. I mean, it's the most well-practiced, often utilized, and well-funded military in the world by a substantial margin. And they have, military bases and a fucking dizzying number of countries in a way that feels incredibly problematic. That's in the NRA. Do you consider it a terrorist organization? I don't know if I consider it a terrorist organization. Maybe. I think that the NRA is there to, essentially encourage the sale and profitability of firearms manufacturers. Let's see. I wonder if Twitch considers reacting to chat react content. Who cares? If I'm not gonna get partnered, I'm not gonna get partnered. I'm good at this. Who fucking cares? I'm talking in depth about things. If they would rather me play League of Legends and mauled for 6 hours, that's their loss, man. I'll do that later. I won't do League, but I will mauled at a game, and that'll be just as valuable. But if they think that this is unviable because I don't only look at a game, that's their prerogative, dude. The NRA does a lot of good. What do you think comes from the NRA that's good? Leftist 2A groups. If others have rifles, we should have. I mean, that's like textbook Marxism. Marx implores the ownership of firearms as a means of overthrowing, oppressive regimes, and I think that also comes from a time in which, you were able to form a formidable militia against, military oppression based on the available tech, whereas, we don't really have the ability to do that now. It would literally require the military to overthrow the person in power at present. They would have to not respond, ultimately. What do we have here? You ever see that a video about 3D printed guns? Yes, I did. Problematic, actually. Super fucking insane. I think everyone wishes there were no guns, but good luck. I mean, it's possible. They're just... The real thing is people thinking that, we need to not have guns, when the reality is we need to not have need for guns. We need to make it such that we create a world that doesn't make people feel as if they need a gun, And a lot of that has to do with just the ways in which guns are frankly, marketed. And it's not like guns are marketed. Gun ownership is marketed as being either, patriotic or essential in the intervention of crime. But the actual consideration or concern is, why do we feel the need to have guns? Because we leverage scarcity. We leverage scarcity as a means of essentially compelling certain action to ensure that you or the people you represent will have abundance. It's why a lot of crime, war, etc. occurs. Sometimes they're just senseless acts of violence, but more often than not, it's going to happen. What happens is, it's a fear of eventually succumbing to or being, thrust to, exist within a point of scarcity, to not have enough and to feel threatened by that. So people are pursuing excess, as a means of staving off the possibility of scarcity, because we don't have infrastructure that ensures, abundance or plenty. Frankly, because it's not in the interest of those who profit or benefit from these existing systems. They get to live lives of unimaginable luxury, and because they live in a system where luxury, wealth, and excess are correlated with value as a being, they feel justified in that endeavor. They see it as human nature. It's not human nature. Human nature is appeasing a collective, and the narrative of the collective in the age of capitalism has been that of procuring as much personal wealth as possible in the face of eventual excess, or eventual scarcity. But as we create systems that essentially nullify the threat of scarcity or that create abundance, this need to leverage scarcity becomes increasingly diminished, almost to the point to where we have to create a fiction of scarcity by throwing away foodstuffs, which we do, by the way. Almost 40% of the foodstuffs we produce gets thrown away. Viable foodstuff, mind you. Because, again, we have to maintain scarcity in order to, get people to pay for shit. Once we realize that we can create enough, the problem now becomes how do we essentially suppress our ability to tend to our environment so that we, encourage people to, labor in unfavorable circumstances to have enough, just enough. While other people are doing so because they want to have excess, because having excess means they're better. And this is entirely a fiction of socialization, and that once the values shift on the basis of what's essential for survival, we'll see a shift in that narrative as well as to what people actually want to see in other people. And contributing to collective welfare and betterment is going to be seen as something that is that in due time. So those who provide meaningful, ideas, etc., are going to be rewarded by way of how it is they're revered or, celebrated for their ability to tend to the collective and care for those that, care to these systems that ensure that we are not just, in a position of enough, but plenty. So yeah. I think I'm good. Everyone else good? Cool. Yeah, the Canada Milk story, that's what I'm referencing at present. Fucking unimaginable amount of milk just getting wasted because they need to keep demand high. So supply has to stay low. Or low enough to keep demand high. Okay, what should we do? Do we want to flip the... What do you mean flip? Do you want the... Are you saying you want the ass? What do you want the... fucking... I feel like I can get banned for that, dude. So Amaranth licking a mic for 200 plus an hour is in excess? That's such a fucking dumb... She's not exploiting people in the process in the same capacity that a company like Amazon is. She might be benefiting from the exploitation of others. Of course it's excess. She does not need that much money. No one needs that. The only reason people are trying to procure that excess is because there's a threat of scarcity. Are you fucking listening? Dude, start fucking just timing people out. Like, I'm so over. Like, come up with something new or something compelling. Like, I've responded to the exact question in even a more contentious way. I've responded to shit about Hassan, who makes a money platforming leftist ideals. Like her licking a microphone and making money is in no way, shape, or form comparable to the ways in which human capital is exploited and abused in pursuit of excess. Like, it's a fucking dumb to outright unproductive point of entertainment, but it's not like her excess isn't fucking paved with blood in the same way. I mean, it's complicit in that all people who produce a commodity for, an enterprise that is built on that are kind of complicit, but it's tangentially complicit. I've talked about this with so many individuals about, like, where it is injustice lies and why it's important for people to, we still are tasked with existing within capitalist circumstances. I'm pointing at the reason why people are still trying to go for excess. And then you're like, so it's not excess? No, it is. The problem is that we create a system that demands people to pursue excess. And that the elimination of that system through the fucking, intervention, design, or like injection of the implementation of like meaningful social safety nets and necessary social infrastructure in a way that catalyzes or assures opportunity provision and the possibility of enough for individuals, a life of dignity, is exactly what the objective should be. It's about creating a society that isn't governed by essentially building, invulnerability to scarcity. Like, fuck. You work out today? Yeah, I trained back early. Well, you don't get to determine what I do. Stop fucking, like, doing things that that are, like, just obviously unhelpful and unproductive. Like, I'm just, like, I'm gonna become increasingly less... I'm going to become increasingly less, like, permissive of, like, blatant... I want attention by continuing to regurgitate the same fucking strawman arguments that you've been... essentially, like, very calmly speaking against for, like, an hour and a half, Like, I love you guys, and I love that you provoke discourse, but at a certain point, it's exhausting, because you're unwilling to actually engage with it. You just want to keep poking it over and over again. Like, I value you guys asking questions, and I want you guys to have, like, a place for compelling discourse, but I feel like you don't listen and you wait for me to finish a point to then essentially ask the same thing in a different way without addressing the ways in which I have, like, meaningfully attenuated all of your concerns. Like, I have provided, I think, pretty exhaustive explanation of why it is I think there are different problems we're not addressing in the context of a lot of what it is you've gone on to say. And then, like, it's just exhausting. Like, I care about you guys, and I'm glad that people are here. And I do want that in my channel. I want this to be a place for collective discourse. Like, the minute people stop asking what I mean or stop providing resistance is the minute I really stop talking about political topics altogether, because I don't think we need another echo chamber on the internet. I just don't. But I value you guys. I just don't know when it stops. Anyways, I value you guys. I do, but fuck. Sometimes I just feel like it doesn't matter how I address your points. You just say the same thing over again, without any indication that you had heard or gave any attention to what it is I have just tried to deliver to you. So, God fucking damn it. Okay. So, chat, what do we want to do? I'll probably be live for another, like, hour and a half or so. So do we want a game? I'm not upset. It's more like I want to set the record straight, because I feel what I feel bothered by is that I'm going to eventually have to, like, I'm going to have to eventually stop engaging it. You know what I mean? And I don't, like, I will continue to time people out for extended periods of time. And if you guys provide meaningful opposition that you, like, that actually, like, presents a new point I didn't already address, I'm, like, down to engage with it forever. I am. Why so short today? I just kind of want that. I want to have kind of a short day, chill, try to get decent sleep, wake up tomorrow. I'm taking the day off tomorrow is the big thing. I never want to I'm forcing myself to end early today. Does that make sense? Like, I'm forcing myself to, so that I may wake up at a reasonable-ish hour and, like, have a full day off that isn't just, like, me in the evening. But I really do want to just stream until, like, 5 in the morning every day. I love streaming. I don't know if you guys know this. Like, I really like my job, man. You guys have given me, like, so much fulfillment. I like what I do a lot. Like, a lot. Like, it's very cool to me that I get to do this. So I'm just really grateful, first and foremost, man, in every way. I think I'm gonna be training Russell on Wednesday, but I'll ask Nick. How dare you decide how long you stream? It's up to us. Well, no, I mean, I'm setting boundaries for myself today, because I don't think I've taken a day off in February. I don't really even know. Like, sometimes I just take days off accidentally. I'm really bad at taking days off, and I have to force it. Or oftentimes what happens is I, like, bubble over to the point that I need one. But, like, I need you guys to know, it kills me to take days off. I don't like it. I don't want to take days off, ever. I like doing this. This is my favorite activity. Is streaming. It's all my life is. But I also have to create time for more life, you know? I was texting a woman today and jokingly asked her when she said something that puzzled me. What'd you ask her? What did you ask her? Wait, Godro, I don't know what that means. I was texting a woman and I jokingly asked her when she said something that puzzled me. What did she say? What'd you ask? We have to ask. What? Twitch overlords demand more exploitation? I know. The woman got her. What a cliffhanger. Fuck, man. This is brutal. She sent me travel stuff, so I said, when are you going to take me on a trip? And then what happened? And then what happened? Type faster, Gaudreau. You can't leave us on... Well, and then... And she say, like, trip on this dick? What happened? Joking, of course. I was looking for her reaction. Okay! This is one... Yeah, no. Omni, you're dead on. This is One Piece level cutting back and forth. What? No, I didn't see the new My Hero. But I will. Or maybe I did? I'm not totally sure, actually. I don't know if I saw the last one. I feel like I did. But maybe I didn't? Okay, dude. Gaudreau, get the fucking story out. Or I'm gonna ban you. Like, I can't... This is... Essentially, she said something to the lines of that if she paid for a trip, she would feel masculine. For me, she would feel masculine. Did you tell her that, yes, I need a muscle mommy dommy? I need a muscle mommy to dom me? Did you tell her that? What'd you say? Did you say that you're a little baby bitch boy, a little femboy who wants to be taken care of by his mommy? Did you say that? What'd you say next? Did you lean into it? Did she want to feel masculine, or was she like, why are you making me feel like a man? And what do you want? Because if you found that, like, if she was saying, like, I wouldn't do that because that's what men do, and you think that's bad, that's actually reason enough to say, fuck it, I'm not in, you know? So what did you say? What was she upset about it? What was it? What was it? I'm losing it, dude. I'm losing it. What was it? What was it? And she wouldn't want a man that was willing to accept a trip paid by a woman? Dog. Booter. Did you ask her why? That's so dumb. Look, if you don't align with that ideology, I think that's totally grounds to be like, fuck it. And that's a traditional view that is her prerogative. I think it's harmful, and I think that if you found that to be harmful, walk away. I would. That's probably not someone I'd want to date. Personally. It just sounds like she really wants to be, like, taken care of and probably has, like, if that's her prerogative and that's what she wants and that's not what you want, totally fine, no harm, no foul, but you can also walk the fuck away. But the pussy was fire? I mean, you don't have to stop having sex with her unless you're, like, leveraging a relationship. That's totally fine. I don't think that... Look, the reality is that if you try to date her, you're going to continue to until her expectations and the way that it's maligned with your expectations blow up in both your faces. But if you're cool with continuing to have sex with her, with full disclosure, you don't have to stop enjoying the sex, in theory. So, you know? But that'd also be kind of a turnoff, personally. It all depends on, I guess, how far you're willing to bend. You know what I mean, man? I think a lot of women are like that. I knew a girl who wanted to make a lot of money and her husband needed to make more than her. And that's a weird thing. I don't think it's weird. I think it's just something that's conditioned into people. And if that's what you want, guys, you got to start advocating for yourselves a little bit. And you have to start protecting yourself. If she's looking long-term, then it's not a good fit, dude. If you disagree with that ideology and you believe it to be problematic, then I would not date her. I wouldn't want to... I don't think I'd see eye to eye with her. I don't know why we'd date, really. I mean, you might as well just ask her if she, like, really sees, like, that as a... Like, I mean, do you want her to pay for things in your life? What kind of relationship do you want? I think that it's a dumb thing to believe in the abstract, like that's the case and that it's feminine to let a woman pay for things. But if someone likes the way they feel when they're given gifts or when they're, you know, treated with something, I think it's one thing to say, why is it that that's a distinctly feminine experience? Why can't both people enjoy being gifted or treated to something? And why does it have to be distinctly masculine or feminine to do one or the other, you know? Like, to hear what it is she has to say. It's probably just that that's how she was raised. And maybe you could have her challenge those beliefs in a way that's a bit more self-confronting, you know? And that, like, there's no, like, you know, gendered way of expressing love or affection or providing, you know, aid or care. And that if your personal preference is that, your personal preference is that. But to say that you couldn't date a man for doing that is different than saying, like... I mean, it's really not like that. That's a pretty fucking odd line to draw personally. If I were in a situation where she couldn't afford that and you wanted to make it out of your own heart, that would make sense. But straight up thinking that paying for a man's makes him feminine, yeah, it's odd. Not necessarily wanted to pay for shit, but it was her first reaction was that. Yeah, I mean, dude, I think you should have a conversation with her about it and see if that's just like an ardent stance she has that she's considered thoroughly and it's just her own, like, you know, conviction. Because if it is and you don't like it, you can kind of walk away from that. You know what I mean? I think it's odd. If you don't take an issue with it, that's one thing. But Wake's really said dumper. Clint Stew. Is that what you heard? Is that your listening comprehension? He wasn't actually asking to go on a trip. He was just memeing. And she was like, I could never date a man who was willing to accept a gift. That's feminine. And then you're like, Wake said pay up. Like, dude. It's about the ideology that informs it. Why it is she's suggesting that, or the sense of like I deserve it and that's like only something that I should be given as a woman. It's odd, engendered, and strange, and something that should be confronted, in my opinion. Puzzle me, ask follow-up questions. Yeah, you might as well just ask. Might as well just shoot the shit with her and see what she really thinks. Yeah, that's funny. I think that's a really odd thing to do. What does she do on her birthdays? Can't do that, man. That's feminine. All right? You give her a gift. For how grateful you are for another year of your life lived by her side, right? Wake, no one notices me like you and S-Fan. Of course, man. Anytime. Big W's. Welcome in, man. It's good to see you. JK, by the way. Yeah, it's not feminine to ask questions. Yeah, I think that leveraging these really rigid, gendered expectations of a relationship as being an imperative on the basis of it being you, like, let's say, like, attenuating to and in turn, like, not forsaking your identity as a man is the problem. Not necessarily her saying that, like, this is how I receive love, you know? For her to have an issue with her treating you to something, if that's how you receive love, comparably, on the basis of it not being manly is weird. If anything, she can say that she doesn't want to do that, but to say that she shouldn't do it because you're not a man if you accept it is just like a totally fucking like distorted lens to view the idea of gender in a relationship. You know what I mean? So I'd say fuck it. I'd say absolutely. I'd say talk with her, see if that's really just her convictions, or if you guys can find some kind of like understanding of one another. But if that's just what she believes, man, you got to be okay with washing your hands of it. You know what I mean? In my opinion, that's me. Don't face the consequences of differing worldviews until it takes a huge mental toll on your and you dried. Yeah, exactly. You got to wait until it explodes in your face. Asked a skeptic girl around for sex, but had no emotional bond. She couldn't keep it separate. Well, yeah, I mean, that means that it wasn't really, like, consensual parameters. At least it became not that. I think that it's totally fine for individuals to recognize that they have compatibility in one arena and not the other, and, choose to either proceed in that way and make amends for the ways they lack compatibility in the other arena, or to just terminate the relationship, right? There are going to be plenty of people who have sexual compatibility and not like philosophical or lifestyle compatibility, and they may continue having sex, in a totally consensual capacity, aware of their absence of compatibility elsewhere in a way that's super productive for both. However, there might also be people who lack sexual compatibility who like choose to still date one another and like see other people in the process to fulfill that sexual compatibility. That also happens. Or there'll be people who say, I need to have both, and they choose not to be together. And that's the reality of most relationships, is that if it's not wholly fulfilling, people don't choose to sit beside it. No, you shouldn't. Well, I mean, Raph, depends. It depends. No real man eats white bread. You think real men eat bread? I thought we just ate testicle, you know? You're telling me I'm gonna fucking wait months to harvest grain? I got new lands to pillage, son. No, I shouldn't. Don't do it, Raph. So fucking dumb, man. Listen to your gut. No real man is under 40. It's just kind of feminine that you're under 40, you know? Make more meaningful relationships, connect with people on a deeper level. Yeah, talk about that. Be willing to be vulnerable. I find that vulnerability oftentimes encourages vulnerability in like a non-manipulative way, but like you being transparent about how you feel and who you are is significant to, you know, I think encouraging others to do the same. And it's, don't task them with doing it, but, you know, to be forthright about your experiences and what it is you believe, or talking about things to depth, you know, your convictions, etc., is massively catalytic to developing that kind of understanding of someone else. In a way, gold diggers are coming back. Men are saying they want someone to take care of, so the women that want to be taken care of are coming back. I don't think that it's coming back as like a default way of being. I think that there will be people who exalt material acquisition in a way that they'll do whatever to get it, you know? And that if that's the most direct trajectory for people with the least amount of labor, you're probably going to see people do it, but I wouldn't stress out about it all day, man. You know what I mean? Does that mean I should show women my anime figurine collections on the first date? It means you should probably date people who are going to fuck with the fact that you love anime. You know what I mean? I do think that that's something that you can pretty meaningfully interpret from this entire conversation, that you should date people who like the shit that you like. You know what I mean? 100%. Do you think non-sugar drinks messes with your gut biome? I mean, for those who have never consumed aspartame or like sucralose or something, you will have alterations to your gut biome based on new input, but literally any new food input that your body doesn't know how to, you know, assimilate will involve shifts in the gut biome. I have really great digestion and I consume artificial sweeteners every day. So I don't think that it necessarily has, that's anecdotal. They do measure changes in the gut biome, or they have in a study. I don't know how reliable or replicated the study is, and that warrants further, you know, observation or study, but no. Let's see. If you date someone who hates anime, just keep the room. I don't know why you would date someone who hates the thing you love. What if I want to show everyone my anime collection? Then you should show them it. What do you mean? Of course. No, I don't know what that is, Sat. As someone who's queer, I've always found straight dating, for the most part, highly capitalistic. You got to do this to get sex. Well, it's... So, I think that it's a bit different in that, like, we're taught to treat sex as a transaction. Like, and it has everything to do with the fact that, like, we're still kind of entrenched in this, like, puritanical kind of value exchange of marriage, being like, women can't make money because women are silly and have small brains in this universe. They cannot lift weights. They should not be tasked with making big decisions. They're too emotional, so they don't get to go to college. However, they're also going to need a place to live because they can't live in the home eternally, so we're going to find them someone who makes a lot of money, you know, so that they're well taken care of. I want to make sure that if we have, like, a bad harvest, they don't die. So you get people who are trying to, you know, encourage women to essentially withhold sex so they are put in a position of, one, because their sexuality is vilified and their purity or virgin, like their virginal like quality is something that's leveraged as being like a, because that's just a weird fucking you know, point of like insecurity that's leveraged often with men, is like, you know, no one else to compare to here. Strange. But that's something that's often leveraged, I think, is like a value. And so you have women who are being like prohibited from procuring their own stability, and men who are being prohibited from living in a life that does anything other than achieve stability, because the only thing men need is excess economic value so that they can attract a wife, because men want to have sex and women want to have sex too. Everyone wants to have sex, but women are taught that if they have sex, they lose their value. Men are taught that the only way to be able to have sex is by procuring as much capital as possible so that women will want to sleep with them, because having capital means having stability in a world that leverages scarcity and in turn instability. So women can't work, men can work. In turn, women are getting placed in positions where men are, where they're vying for the most, let's say, stable or successful man, because they need that success and stability to achieve any kind of longevity or stability for themselves. Which is so dumb. But yeah, as women stop essentially like being economically dependent on men for their own stability or prosperity, women aren't having sex with men in like a compulsory capacity anymore just to stay afloat, you know? People are doing it on the basis of having legitimate personal connection, and that's changing over time. But we still have vestiges of that, you know, where don't compromise your value by having sex, you know, so you have to be withholding because men are looking for ways to get sex, and you, in turn, because men are taught that their value is in sexual conquest as well, right? Like, so men's value is in sexual conquest and their capacity to be like a prolific, like, cocksman, right? To have as much sex as possible, because that means that you're a valuable dude. Valuable men in this kind of fucking, capitalistic fucking perversion of human sexuality, a valuable man is one who has sex with a lot of women. And a valuable woman is one that successful men want to have sex with. And that you identify what a valuable man is on the basis, men identify the value of other men based on their ability to have sex with other women, but women are taught to value and have sex with men who have surplus value. And this is strictly speaking in like, I'm speaking of like a vestige of an old culture on the basis of what pressures informed it, right? So like, if women don't have recourse for procuring their own stability, or women having to procure their own stability is viewed as a failure as a woman, right? Because you should just be able to marry into someone who's wealthy. If you were a valuable woman, men would want to sleep with you so badly that you'd have your pick of the litter, and you'd never have to work, right? This is something that's been essentially seared into the subconscious of so much cultural discourse, right? Like so much cultural discourse surrounding value, right? And then men, oh, well, you're going to get a lot of money. Oh, he's wealthy. Oh, he's a doctor, etc. Because that means that this person's going to be stable despite the fact, in the face of the fact that they can't fucking labor, you know? So they need someone who's going to be able to do that, because if that wealth runs out, they then are without. They have nothing. They can't survive. They can't stay afloat. So, did you just reference hypergamy? Oh, no, I'm referencing the system that would make hypergamy an imperative for women. Yes, 100%. 100%, because the men are doing it. You can't work. You cannot work unless you cannot work in the absence of, you cannot work. If you cannot work, you cannot stay afloat in the absence of someone else's support, you know? And when we have found a way to make value contingent on the amount of wealth you've procured. Yes, exactly. So the more women that want to sleep with a man, in theory, the more valuable that man is. Not because women want to sleep with him, but because he's been told that he has to have money in order to have women want to sleep with him. And we do value sexual conquest as a display of masculinity rather than depth of sexual or emotional connection. It's all a fucking miss. But hey, women work now. Yes. Yeah, and it's changing things wholeheartedly. So I think that the reason why sex seems so transactional is because everyone is having the possibility of their value being like essentially eliminated, leveraged against them to coerce behavior that people view as productive to a status quo, you know? So much of modern capitalist marketing is built on establishing insecurity in people in the face of a need to be sexually prolific to be valuable, or that sex essentially affirms your value in the world, right? So you have this kind of like hyper-sexed value system held over your head as both a man and a woman, especially in hetero capacities, that frankly, I think that like, it still exists in gay culture as well, like from my understanding of it, especially amongst gay men, where people are, there's still like, it's just both men trying to have as much sex as possible to show that they're sick as fuck, you know? Like that still exists. There's still the cock measuring contest of it all. It's not like that suddenly dissipates in the event that like you don't have, it's just that there's less of a, the transaction is more symbiotic, you know? Because now everyone's having as much sex as possible. They're all cool, you know? And so both people want to engage in that sex to have more sex than other people in a weird way. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, women are taught to have as little sex as possible because the less sex they have, the more, they're untainted to their suitor. Because women are taught that that's like a defect to have some kind of sexual history because men are fundamentally insecure of having to, be compared against another individual, so they don't select individuals who've had good or compelling or illustrious sex in the past. So they're trying to hit Gladiator for twos. They're spam queuing. So it's a really interesting caveat, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we have been taught through a lot of marketing strategies to assess our validity through the lens of whether or not people want to have sex with us. And that works well in that it sells us a lot of superfluous products that are meant to indicate value or desirability, you know? And the value and desirability are almost always in reference to excess, you know? So a lot of what you'll see with, like, men is like having a nice watch, a nice car, a nice house, etc., being dressed in a way that exudes wealth. That's all meant to communicate to other people that, you have enough, and so men are told to procure enough for themselves so that women then see them as being a viable suitor in that regard, because in having enough, and you have enough by buying dumb shit, by the way, which is insane, right? Because that's, if anything, indicative of probably not keeping enough because you're buying dumb shit, but it means that you can afford to. So we put this premium on luxury items that indicate to other people that you have that value that people are seeking because they don't have the ability to stabilize themselves financially in the absence of your support. Which is insane. Shouldn't it be a good thing if your girlfriend's had a lot of sex before? Yeah, I think it is. I don't mind. I have never been, like, irked by my partner's sexual past, outside of maybe when I was like a teenager, like once I realized that the more sex someone's had, and not necessarily the more partners, but the more sex, frankly, I do think it's all that really matters, that they've really explored what it is they derive pleasure from, so they can, like, communicate it transparently, and then you're having fulfilling and, like, exploratory sex with someone in a way that's super fun, sex is great, but it doesn't fill the gaping hole inside me. Well, have you tried bottoming? Sex isn't going to provide a fulfilling relationship, but it does provide catharsis. I do think that sex is important in the absence of it being the only thing we're into. You know what I mean? Like, sex isn't going to take the place of, community or, like, emotional interconnectivity. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Sex is still great. You should still want to have sex, I think, ultimately. At least I think that it helps. It's funner to help a girl discover her interests. I mean, it can be more fun to do so. I don't think that one has to necessarily negate the other. Like, I just think that it's not like because someone's had sex before means that, like, they're not going to want to explore with you what else they can do. I think they're just going to be more receptive to things beyond, like, doggy style or something, You don't have to, like, break through those barriers of, like, puritanical brainwashing, which I think is good. But yeah, it's interesting. I think it's just that women are taught that their value is in their purity. It's the same reason why incels shoot themselves in the foot, right? They get mad at women for not having sex with them, but then they call women whores for having sex with other people, and they don't realize the ways in which they discourage sexual autonomy and exploration is exactly why people have become so painfully withholding of sex, is because you've told them that they're valueless if they've had sexual experience, which is insane. It's utterly fucking asinine, because you're like over here like fucking lamenting your sexlessness and vilifying women for having sex at all. Like, those two aren't obviously comorbid, you know what I mean? I've never had sex or dated, so I just kind of look at the wall. Engage with your hobbies publicly more. Do you think the recent surge in red pill stuff is correlated to women having financial stability and men having to move away from a traditional path? I think it's a big part of it, 100%. I think it's why so much like, blind traditionalism is rooted in red pill ideology. I've actually talked about that a good deal on the channel, is that the minute women stopped having to have sex with men in a coercive capacity, based on systemic coercion, right, is the minute men started to get up in arms because now they had to consider the ways in which they treated women, and the ideals that they had stood beside because they never had to be inquiring about what it is people wanted, because they knew what they needed, which was stability or wealth. So the goal was, I'm going to get this, and then I'm not going to consider, anything beyond that, Or they're fed a lot of fiction, right? Like this idea that like of like kind of like a chivalrous ideal that is kind of incomplete, of like I just have to be nice, I just have to be nice and kind, and so they essentially like assimilate niceness as a performance to get closer to sex without realizing that the inauthenticity of it kind of like erodes the intent and like, or it doesn't erode the intent. The intent was never there kind of thing. There were a lot of things that like, I think that there's just a lot of like romantic fiction that are like fed to men that make them feel as if they should be just like intrinsically deserving of sex. But they were also fundamentally brainwashed too in like the whole like kind of like social politics of it. I think a lot of young dudes are aspiring to have sex with the person that they think is let's say like most flattering to their self-image or their public image. So they're like, it's like all the 15-year-olds want to date like the cheer captain or something like that. You know what I mean? Because they've been fed media that tells them that that's how they procure value in a world that tells them that they're valueless if they don't have this thing or that thing or represent this or that. It's like always like we're so inundated with marketing meant to cause in us a sense of inadequacy. It's what Andrew Tate does. I spoke to that yesterday. It's like he tries to he pins his own fiction essentially of what people want from you as a man, so that he can target those who clearly wouldn't have developed any of those skills or sensibilities or anything, or much less those who. So one, it's not even a true imperative, but he'll find people who don't really know what they should be or lack that kind of discourse or guidance, and so he'll inspire this unyielding insecurity in someone of, oh man, I need money and I need muscles. And I need to like I can't be nice to women because nice guys finish last. I got to be mean to them. And it always works. It's like, no, it works to like essentially like ensnare a bunch of really insecure young women who are like 18 or 19 and have been told that they have to receive the validation of men to be valuable at all, because they're still inundated with messaging trying to sell them products so that people want to be around them, and that you cement your value by being the person that the hero wants to sleep with or something, there are just so many fucking converging, like misrepresentations and manipulations at present meant to really just like fuel consumption ultimately, like all these things that are anything but like looking at like what kind of company you actually value and whether that person provides it. And so you have a lot of people who are like going for, I think, like the thing that they believe to be a status symbol, kind of like a lot of purchasing is. So you have like these young dudes who are like, I'm going to date the cheer captain, or I'm going to approach her, so on and so forth. This person was nice to me, because people can be kind, and women have also been told to like not be kind to people because they can like receive it as interest. So like a lot of people have people being mean to them as a way of like avoiding misrepresenting their intent, because there's so many layers to it. But anyways, the reason being that a lot of these young dudes are going for women they have nothing in common with, and then are like distraught when they don't date, and they're also dating like young women who are trying to do everything they can to like fulfill the imperatives that have been thrust upon them by like the same kind of like marketing and like superimposing fictions that tell them where they derive value, which is by attracting the hero, the person that you believe to be the most valuable in this kind of social niche. It's all fucking moronic. It's just all fucking moronic. The 2023 men's version of having an OF is men having an OF. What the fuck do you mean? I think if you're asking, like, anyways, what I was saying is, I think that inceldom comes from people essentially not recognizing the ways in which a lot of their, sexual gaze and intent and lifestyle is built on, essentially pursuing something that they may not have any connection with at all, but instead that they perceive as being essential to the validation of their identity as a man. Does that make sense? And so, yeah, I mean, like, they might not be having sex on the basis of that, but they're trying to date someone they have nothing in common with on the basis of the status that sleeping with that person would suggest you wield. But there's always more layers of that. Like, So when you talk about like attractiveness as well, attractiveness is like there can be a degree of theoretical objectivity, but a lot of what it is we view as attractive is subjectively guided. Like we have a lot of different beauty ideals that prevail in different periods of time, right? Like we're in like the fucking femboy renaissance at present. We have the dad boy fixation. Like we have a lot of things that like culturally we suddenly decide, no, this is hot now, and we pursue. I mean, like we've had it historically. It's about like what it represents in context of like other, like, let's say like present social imperatives. And so to be something that like deviates from like rigid stereotype is something that a lot of people do value simultaneously. It's like there's a market for everyone in a weird enough way. Like someone will, via their connection to you, want to fuck you. I think that a lot of people just are so wounded on the basis of all of the messaging telling them they're not enough because they're not conventionally this or that they fail to then go back out and connect with people authentically with the intent to connect, not with the intent of establishing or securing a sense of validation. Because that's what a lot of people are doing. They're doing it with this like manic fear of being further invalidated because they already perceive themselves as being inadequate. So you get these like red pill dudes who already feel like shit about themselves, who then go out into the world, try to engage with something, and if they get any sense of not being received perfectly because they're not finding individuals who they actually connect with, they're going to these kind of like hyper conventional like club environments and getting turned down because they might not have any interest in actually being there. They're not willing to actually play the part, or they go so far as to play the part and it oozes with inauthenticity. So then you have people who are like they're getting like rejected, and they I actually was just reading about this. It's called like compensatory masculinity, and it's a desire to what was the study? Oh shit. So there was this study. I think I might have just watched this video on TikTok. It's interesting though. I did see the study as well, but they took men and divided them into two groups. One group they were all doing a grip test strength. There was a group that was going to be told that they were around average with their grip test strength, and then another that would be told that they're significantly below average, regardless of their actual outcome, right? Those who were told that they were significantly below average were then later asked like different things about their statistics, like their height, etc. Those who were rated as statistically below average were significantly more likely to inflate their height than those who were told that they were average. So those who are fundamentally already feeling invalid are more likely to double down on their sense of invalidity in a way that is compensatory. It's them trying to make up for the ways that they may have been invalidated, right? And so a lot of people who then like, let's say like, you have individuals who they go after an individual who they have nothing in common with, right? They experience some kind of formative rejection, and instead of like looking at anything that they could have been doing wrong, right? Like maybe even where it is they're looking for connection, they immediately turn to, why is this person the fucking problem? And so this is why we get this pipeline from like, I want to have sex with this woman to, women are fucking whores, because the two inputs are totally misaligned. Women are obviously not whores if they're not sleeping with people to the same rate at which anyone would be fulfilled. Like that's not what. If you women, the fact that you're calling women whores and actively discouraging sexual exploration and doing so in a way that's contemptuous is part of why people aren't sleeping with you. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can swag the fuck out. Everyone should be swagging out. But anyways, I do think that's interesting. I think that generally speaking, a lot of young men, partake in this sort of, what's the right word? A lot of young men partake in this kind of, like compensatory contempt of like, I'm already feeling vulnerable or as if I'm not enough, so everything I'm looking to get out of these interactions is something that fulfills my, or it negates my sense of inadequacy, And so there's no authentic connection occurring between them and women because everything they're doing with women is charged with the tell me I'm enough, There's no like, what is this person into? It's like, how do I perform being enough to this person based on the conventions that are sold to me by people who are trying to leverage my sense of inadequacy for their financial gain? You know what I mean? Does this track with people? I'm kind of rambling at this point because I'm going down more and more rabbit holes. But I think what I'm saying kind of makes sense here. Like, there's no real connection because connections are now built on, essentially, I bought the class, I bought the clothes, now tell me I'm enough. And so everything they do is about performing being enough, not in connecting with women. And so it kind of perpetuates itself. They're like, now I'm doing everything, and it's clear you just want chads, but it's probably the person who feels independently that they're enough, probably the person who's been affirmed via traditional means, who doesn't really feel the sense of like, I need to establish my sense of sufficiency through my interactions with women that are going to connect with them more meaningfully, not feel as overwhelmed at the possibility of them not liking them, and in turn have like a legitimate engagement with an individual that leads to them maybe having sex, you know? It just takes time to even like I kind of like matured pretty suddenly, and I was used to being rejected from women, rejected by women through like my pubescence, you know? And then I like matured like almost like kind of over like a year or so. My face like really like masculinized, and I became like, you know, more of what people see as being good looking, I guess, really suddenly. And that did not radically improve my experience of dating, like in any way. What did was actually like going through the labor of like taking inventory of what I valued about myself to the point to where I no longer considered every day as to whether or not I was what everyone wanted, but instead being like, how can I assess whether or not this person is someone I'm even into, you know? So how do I start with a personal connection imperative of like, do I have anything I align with this person? And if so, do I like want to continue seeing? And like, you learn that through that, you actually like, you aren't like, how can I get this person to affirm me? It's like, how can I connect with this person on a deep enough level to understand whether or not this is someone I even want to be with? Because I don't need to pursue this to feel like a personal fulfillment. But as long as you see your present sense of masculinity as being fundamentally invalid on the basis of all this conditioning that you're being fed, right? All this marketing that's like, you're not enough. And you're doing this like 15-year-olds. This is why Andrew Tate's so successful. He's vending insecurity to 15-year-olds and then selling them something that's, theoretically antidotal, right? Like, you're not enough. You're never going to be enough. You don't have money. You're not cool. You're not jacked. You don't have a Bugatti. But I can teach you how to do all those things. And then women will want to sleep with you, you know? So do all these things first. Buy my class, and then you'll be enough. Then they'll do that, go out and have to be everything that they think that this person has now sold them, realizing that that's not what everyone wants. That maybe is a good way of manipulating young women into sleeping with you. Young women who are insecure and believe on some level that their value is predicated on their ability to attract the person that society's told them is going to be the best for their longevity, you know? It's all dumb. It's all dumb. Anyways. Nothing about flirting feels natural at all, so it's weird. Don't consider it flirting. Just try to do your best to see if you'd even be interested in someone, you know? Being flirty is really just, I think, being interested in, like, making jokes, you know? You don't have to be, like... And if you have an earnest compliment you want to give someone, give it to them earnestly. If you inject tren into your urethra, well, that's step 2. I think they just find Giga Chads hot or pretty boys, good facial structure, and lean always wins. No, it doesn't. No. In fact, a lot of relationships are just like dudes imploding over their insecurity until women break up with them. Who are like there's a whole... Women have, on every level, been scientifically, like via like very like legitimate research methods, shown to be far more likely to date someone who isn't perceived as being as attractive as them as men than men are. Like, on the whole. Far more likely. There's a whole fucking spectrum of things people are looking for, and women are often telling you what they want, but you're obsessing over this lot in life that you feel, ensnared within. And I understand it, and it can feel upsetting because you're being inundated with messaging that tries to invalidate you on the basis of what just might be like, yeah, you might not look like a supermodel, you know? But they're going to sell you on ways to try to be as close to that as possible because you obviously have to look like that to have sex. It's not the case. A lot of women are telling you what it is they want out of companionship and connection and sex. And then there are a bunch of men and people who are trying to leverage your insecurity to sell you more shit, telling you that they're lying to you or they're wrong. It's so fucked up, man. Lead with who it is you are and try to connect with individuals on shared interests. You're going to have far, far, far more success, dude. Far, far, far more success. Men are not less picky. No, they're not. That's not even like men might be willing to have sex more fecklessly, but that's because men are told that their value is in their sexual their capacity for sexual conquest. Like, we already kind of went over that. No, men are not willing to do that with any woman. In fact, on the whole, again, this is like research backed. You can look into it yourself. Maybe I'll try to curate some links after this. I don't want to go through it. Like, I don't save a lot of the studies I go through, but women are far more likely to date men who are viewed as less attractive as they are when rated by peers. Far more likely, significantly so. Men are infinitely less likely to do so, or to pursue a date, or to do anything with anyone that they believe to be less attractive than not just they are, but than is excellent. There's a total skew there because men are told that in their ability to bring attractive women to them, that means that they're of value. It's all another way in which people have been conditioned to equate sex with like and like a myopic nature of sex. Not like sex that's good, not sex that's fulfilling, but sex that indicates social status on the basis of who it is who it is like they're able to attract in a way that like isn't just a matter of strictly like it's not a human nature component. It's like people who are told that that's like a reliable barometer for success. And both men and women are starving for some kind of nuanced point of interconnectedness or belonging with in a romantic and interpersonal capacity. Moving the goalposts. No one is saying that's what you're implying. What are you saying? Are you saying? Hold on. Are you saying that a highly attractive man doesn't have an easy time attracting women with the same personality? With the same personality, sure. I think it all depends on what someone's attracted to. If you have two identical people and one who exemplifies the prevailing concept of attractive in a given social circle, then sure. But it depends on who they'll attract. Again, I've looked different throughout my like 20s, for instance. Like I've been all the way to very skinny to very big, and it does change the way your face looks when you hold fat on it. I've been 260 pounds. I've been 155 pounds. I'm about 200 pounds now. I've just attracted different women at all of those weights. No really like more or less attractive women, just different. Fake doctor profile on a dating app, got 50 plus matches in 10 minutes and like 25 DMs of women falling over themselves to get this dude's attention. Sick. I would love to see you do that. But you just described like, again, a dude who wields status in a world that has told women that their ability to procure a financially, successful individual is being, indicative of their value, right? Because we're living in like essentially the vestiges of a psychology that's told women that like they're not going to be able to subsist independently, so they should seek the protection, essentially the financial stability of a man, and finding those who have these very like let's say like historically in demand and well compensated positions is definitely an element to that. Population of individuals is a fool's errand, sure. I think some hot guys have extremely odious personalities which can put people off, but being ugly and acting cool just looks fake and what? Being ugly and acting cool looks fake? What the fuck sentence is that? How can someone not be ugly and cool? How can someone not be traditionally attractive and cool? That's so asinine and so far from reality in every way. The difference is that a lot of women view dudes who are cool as being attractive regardless of how it is they appear physically. It's just again, like we already talked about the intersection of like why it is men who feel as though via this kind of messaging and advertising, show me a cool guy who's ugly? Dude. We have to now talk about a few things. What do you think cool is? Is it being the Fonz and like hitting a jukebox and it turns on? Is that what cool is? The Fonz wasn't even that good looking of a dude. I don't think that anyone would argue that the Fonz is like the most stereotypically attractive dude. He was like the icon of cool. like what the fuck do you mean? Who's cool to you? First and foremost, what is cool? Is it being the Fonz? Bah. Jukebox on because I kicked it? And what is it? Like cool means like being like passionate and capable. Like imagine if you're like capable in the things that you're most passionate about and you find other people who identify that. That's cool as fuck. Someone who's like really good at like, fucking like someone who's like fucking great at like doing like let's say, like a successful or like ambitious or passionate person in like a given field or hobby, like someone who loves rock climbing and is good at it, could be cool to someone who really values this as a point of connection in their lives. Like, you're just being super reductive. It's like you're seeing this as like a nightclub where everyone shows up and tries to demonstrate coolness in a really rigid, linear, one-dimensional capacity. Hold on. No, but now you're just being cool to mean admirable? No, what do you mean cool to mean? Fucking define it. Someone who's considered cool by most people. But what is cool? What is cool? Like, fuck! What is cool to you? What's cool to you and what's cool to some people who are like fucking like really into collecting, fucking like old comics are gonna be totally fucking different. Cool is just so different from one group to the next. It's why I'm telling you that you trying to construct an identity on this like fucking like really let's say like fictitious like monolithic concept of like cool in the abstract is problematic, because that's what people who are trying to essentially narrowcast to like what like really base social conditioning via like, you know, advertising imperatives. Like, how do we inspire insecurity in people and like leverage that to like it works in like nightclub settings with 19-year-old women, dude. That's like been my enduring critique, is that if you want like legitimate connection and like good sex and like points of meaning in your interactions, you go around people who like the things you like, who value the things that you value. And your passion, your interests, your competence in that regard even, can all be things that enhance your sense, your general receptivity to others, your helpfulness. Cool is so person to person. A lot of what you probably would describe as cool is just feeling comfortable being who it is you are. And not feeling active rejection or shame for people who just don't indulge it. You know, being able to move on and recognize that not everyone is going to indulge what it is you indulge with the same enthusiasm. And that's totally fine, man. Yeah, it is sad. They're just individuals who are trying to inspire in you insecurity that they can then sell an antidote to. That's it. You know, they're leveraging your absence of experience to plant the seed of doubt in your mind that then stops you from procuring experience.
I may get banned. That's my own fault. Love you, Wilder, and chat smiley face.
Hey, big love to you too. I hope you don't get banned. Yeah, cool is not just handsome and masculine. It's very subculture to subculture. I do believe that at a nightclub with really young men and really young women, that's probably why Andrew Tate is someone who's marketed himself as this kind of like fucking, you know, hyper machismo, business mogul, kickboxer, that a bunch of individuals who have essentially drank the proto-masculine Kool-Aid of social conditioning and advertising imperatives are going to sit there and be like, this dude must be cool. But like anyone who's like 20 or up is like, I think this dude's a fucking, like, he's a predator. He's a moron. He's a criminal. He's like a very obvious fucking vacuous fraud. There's just nothing to it, right? Like, it's just funny how, like, a lot of this red pill dating wisdom is just built on how do we essentially leverage the insecurities, this incessant or like unyielding need for validation, and these very like rigid and like unconsidered pillars of like not just success but like value. You know, like these attributes or traits, like, you know, it's like, how do we create a facade that is compelling to individuals who are none the wiser at just how, like, multifaceted this idea of cool or value or you know, attraction really is to those who start considering it and, like, live through enough life to realize that, like, maybe a lot of how it is they're navigating their romantic or interpersonal life is built on how do I sate or you know, like, combat the insecurities that I have been conditioned to assimilate into my being, you know? It's just so insane. Pigeon, dude. The 25 to 35-year-olds are the fucking 15... Anyone who's 25 to 35 who stands beside what Andrew Tate's saying are either people who have long since fallen victim to that conditioning already, or have been, let's say, so discouraged by the ways in which people like Andrew Tate have discouraged them from seeing themselves as valuable intrinsically and instead believing they need to procure some kind of false self, that they haven't gone out into the world to see just how fictitious his fucking narrative is. Like, it's just... It's just not even valid. Like they're all people who are then, if you're 25 to 35 still aligning with it, you're a victim of that conditioning. You're a victim of in every way the kinds of exploitation that people like Andrew Tate actively capitalize on. I don't think that people are sheep intrinsically. I think that people really want to appease the prevailing narratives of value in their immediate circles, and that some people are lucky enough to escape those echo chambers. Other people aren't. I'm not willing to just call people sheep or NPCs. I think it's really problematic. To act as if people aren't in many ways just victims of circumstance is, I think, really myopic. Most people who find their way into like exalting Andrew Tate ideology are victims of echo chambers, or an absence of opposing ideology, I just don't think I don't think it's helpful. Seeing yourself as valuable, yeah, it will actually. Seeing yourself as valuable will make you valuable in the dating market. Almost in every way it does. So much of being attracted to people is exuding confidence and contentment with like what it is you value and who it is you are, what it is you're passionate about. 100%. 100%. Aren't the blue pill ideas you're stating here the dominant ones? No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, they might be like the helpful thing that we try to tell people, but no one really internalizes it because they're constantly simultaneously being sold this fucking, medley of things they need to do, buy, or exude to be seen as valuable. It's just not even it. Have you seen some ugly dude try to act confident with a girl and he just looks socially unhinged? No. I think that you've internalized a total fucking vilification of anyone you don't see as being traditionally masculine, and that you don't take them seriously because you've been conditioned not to. You've been conditioned to see it as a failure. And so when you look at someone who isn't traditionally attractive engaging with a woman and you scoff at it, that's you replicating the kind of contentment that stops them from engaging with people and sharing who it is they are, and instead cowering behind this facade of alpha male identity that is an utter fucking harm to just like the ever sprawling tapestry of what people can be or what humans can be. I don't agree that that's it. Are you really saying you think that you can take some Quasimodo dude and she'll light up when you say hi and like she does when you say hi? No, of course not. What I'm saying is that the issue being that if someone is only going to be receptive to me on the basis of how it is I appear, and they're not going to be receptive to this person on the basis of how it is they appear, it's probably not a person worth talking to. Why is it that you want to obsess over these genetic lots in life when the reality is that this individual should find what it is they love, what it is they're passionate about, and then identify and navigate the world through that passion, through that fascination, rather than trying to stuff themselves in this fucking Andrew Tate-sized box that people are trying to sell you. They're just trying to replicate a personality that's an utter fiction. It's built to prey upon young women and their naivete and their desire to seek that value through that. I think that people, if that Quasimodo dude has any point of common ground with that individual and feels equally confident, that there's a likelihood that there could be a connection. It doesn't mean that they're going to want to sleep with them intrinsically, but it does mean that there's a value, there's a possibility of connection, and if nothing else, a positive social interaction, because not every time you talk with someone should be about fucking putting your cock in them, dude. But you're saying they shouldn't care that it's hard for them to get into a relationship. It's a human desire. I'm not saying they shouldn't care that it's hard for them to get into a relationship. I'm telling them that they don't want to be in the relationship that involves a fraudulent identity, and that they should stand beside identifying what it is they believe to be valuable about themselves. It doesn't mean that you should neglect the process of like being healthy or something to that extent. I do believe that generally being in shape will enhance your capacity to attract people because, again, generally speaking, being in a relative good shape is something that's totally within your control and indicative of nothing else, a sort of like, care, discipline, concern, so on and so forth. I don't believe that augmenting who it is you are fundamentally to fit a mold is going to assist in any way. And I also think there are people who probably want the physique that you think someone else is vilifying. Maybe they want to have someone who doesn't necessarily care about what it is they're consuming and indulges with them. Doesn't mean you have to be fucking ripped. I think if you're obese, you'd probably be better off to get into a standard bell curve. I don't think that you have to be fucking shredded to attract women. And I don't think that being shredded attracts every woman. It doesn't. I've been shredded. I've been big. I've been fucking husky. You attract different people looking for different things, man. You know, like how it is you engage with women and the kind of comfort you have in yourself, knowing that regardless of whether or not this person accepts or rejects you, doesn't necessarily speak to the value of your character, especially if they're not willing to get to the value of your character through that discourse, you know? Individuals that vapid shouldn't really be fucking affirmed. You know what I mean? And that's kind of your prerogative to stop pursuing women on the basis of their physical attraction alone, to stop being vapid in turn and look for people that you actually connect with. You're going to have better sex, you're going to have better connections, so on and so forth. Just be yourself is terrible advice. You should be your best self. What is your best self, though? Best self to what prerogative? I think that you should be your most impassioned self. I think that you should be looking to take the things you love and to explore them and develop them as uninhibitedly as possible. I think that you should do that. I don't think you should be your best self, because best self gives people like Andrew Tate an avenue for saying what's best is to be this. It's not true. Totally disagree. Yeah, being in shape should be for you because you enjoy it, of course. I'm not telling people to just be themselves. I'm telling them to find people who value who they are, you know? And to definitely invest in a sense of personal understanding, you know, to develop your hobbies. Just don't want hot women isn't exactly good advice. I think it's easy for you to say because you will always get them. I think that if that's where you want to go with the discourse, you're not willing to actually discuss this within reason. But there are plenty of attractive women I don't want to sleep with because I find them to be insufferably self-interested. And I think that not being able to draw those lines and understand that attraction is more multifaceted than wanting to, the foot in the door is there for people I find to be physically attractive. I have developed attraction to people who aren't conventionally attractive in that capacity. I mean, they're all pretty attractive, but I wouldn't say that they're like always aligning with that identity in the abstract. I'm not saying you don't want to fuck hot women either. The idea that you're incapable of identifying or creating attraction with people that you have legitimate grounds for connection with is insane to me. Are you saying that you don't care at all? Do you listen to me? At all? Do you fucking listen to me? Or are you just here to strawman all day, man? I don't think Tate has said a single nice thing ever. I think that Tate has said really hollow, vacant generalities about what it is, he's used like buzzwords. It's like listening to someone give a self-improvement Mad Libs. There's literally never substance to it. I've literally fought tooth and nail with people, like Pigeon, being like, send me a single fucking thing, and it's always the most asinine half-baked take I've ever fucking seen. Yeah, there you go. What do you mean, yeah, there you go? I definitely have had sex with women that I don't think other people would find attractive. Just insane. Do you think all hot women only date based off looks? Dude, you are so misguided. It's like you don't even fucking talk to women. It's like you just ignore the reality of women dating actively. Hot women dating dudes that are not seen as attractive as them at all. Like it happens all the time because they're looking for some point of just authentic care, consideration, or connection. It's like you built your whole fucking, and I do empathize with this because I think that there's this really tenuous, informative time in which women are at odds with their own sense of where it is they're meant to derive value, and it's derived from their capacity to engender the sexual attraction of men that they're told are valuable to them. As women who are going to probably, in theory and historically, lack the same kind of access, lack the same kind of capacity to create value for themselves. And so they're taught to find individuals who satisfy that or who indicate their value as a woman able to attract, a man who can, provide in that capacity, right? Like, it's all, like, there's so many clear, like, socioeconomic, like, the historicity of why women would be encouraged to do that and why women would, on a psychological level, have to gradually unwire this sense of, thank you, would gradually have to unwire this sense of, like, I have to be able to attract this person in order to be value. There's so many, like, layers to it that you have to be willing to actually delve into. For you to say that all hot women only want to date hot men is so fundamentally negligent of the reality of what women are, one, telling you they want, and two, actively doing with their time in dating people. I think that you are comparing vapid women to vapid men who have made their obsession their own physical attractiveness, and you're trying to make that this sort of rule. Women who see their value is in being sexually attractive, and men who see their value is in being sexually attractive are a match made in heaven, but they are in no way, shape, or form indicative of what every person who's deemed as attractive want to be. I'm not talking to you, glow sticks. I'm talking to fucking another dude. I'm saying men and women both don't know what they want in every way. You're looking at vapid fucking uninquiring people who have built this entire worldview based on the marketing and messaging that they've been inundated with since they were like 4 years old of like, be attractive, find a good partner, or be wealthy and successful and attractive, and be wealthy and successful, you'll be attractive and have sex with as many women as possible to prove that you're cool and capable. Like, everyone's going against this sort of imperative of like, how do we sell and communicate products to these individuals and make them essentially at odds with one another, you know? Like, there are so many women sleeping with dudes that are not conventionally attractive, like hot fucking women doing that. It's not even like anomalous. Like, just go to the fucking mall. If you're just talking about women who want to, exude in every way that sense of like, I'm desired, and men who want to exude in every way that they're desired, and their entire worldview is built on this fucking vapid, masturbatory self-indulgence of people want to fuck me, then yes. Those hot women are going to want to date those hot men, but that's not all hot women. This is a fucking myopic Miami nightclub worldview that I just can't sit here and like let people like believe. It's just not like I don't believe there's enough life experience underpinning that perspective. I just don't believe so. Like there are just so many people out there who are desired and dating other people who are desired for reasons beyond just what their fucking bones are shaped like. But we obsess over this one variable because, again, you're inundated with messaging telling you to do so. It's lucrative. They can sell product. But wake, those men have other things positive going for them, the men who don't. Yeah, what do you mean? That means, so of course they do, because they have this healthy thing. Like, God. Yeah, the trolls do come, but I'm glad that they come. I think it's important. I'm glad that people who stand beside these ideologies find themselves there. What's wrong with self-improvement? Nothing. My dating life got way better when I focused on my health and social skills? What do you mean? That's great. What do you mean? You learned how to be more confident. Like, to be derive confidence from like I'm going to pay attention to like how to engage with people and how to assess like their receptivity to what I'm saying, you know? Make jokes. Like, you don't really work on your social skills. You practice them. Does that make sense? Like, you put yourself out there is what happens. And sometimes people who've been told that they're not valuable because they don't look after their health need to do that to be willing to put themselves out there. So I think that there's a real there's like a symbiosis to that and how it catalyzes itself, but it's not necessarily on the basis of one thing. I don't think more people are going to... I think that if you're really unhealthy, like obese, that's one thing. But I think if you're reasonably healthy and you have the same confidence, you're going to yield similar results outside of maybe select demographics. But generally speaking, I think that you took care of your health, you started seeing yourself as being worthy, and so you put yourself out there to try more, and over time, your social skills did improve. That's my take. At least. I don't necessarily think it's like taking a class from Andrew Tate. I think that it just gives you an utter fucking fiction of what people want and gives you a totally faulty script that they just fucking vomited out of their faces or like ask some intern to write. It's just not going to assist you. I really feel bad for dudes who place so much value on appearance as an adult. I mean, I don't even think that it's worth feeling... Like, I think that there's like an entire industry of influencers built to make people feel inadequate. And I think that this whole Giga Chad meme's been super problematic, this sense of trying to standardize male attractiveness. You see more celebrities getting like literal jaw implants now than ever. There's a total fucking it's the same thing. It's just new ways to sell people an insecurity that they have to rectify. They've been doing it to women for years. It's just happening to men. They're now beauty influencers for men everywhere. Mewing, fucking, like bone mashing and shit. Like all the looks maxing shit, that's just like fucking makeup and beauty influencers for men who are selling you dog shit products. They're just there to inspire an insecurity in you, to create a standard of what attractive should be that no one can hit, ever. No one can hit. And so you have these like lifetime attractive people who are like made a living off being attractive, who are now made to feel insecure because they don't, occupy this perfect niche of like photoshopped, pandemonium, like just total madness. Everyone is trying to sell you something. We have now made influencing and social influencing like one of the most desirable positions in the world, and so people are looking for clickbait. They're looking for ways to manipulate you. It's fucking moronic, absolutely fucking moronic. It's The only thing I can see, mewing isn't real, dude. Mewing, it's like orthodontics is real, but like mewing isn't going to help most people who are older. It's just going to augment how it is they look in a photo. I've done plenty of research into mewing. I've consulted with plenty of like resources from direct fucking orthodontists and dentists and people with legitimate credentials. And you might say, they want to sell you braces fucking work. Braces do change your face, but you also go through puberty through those periods. Everyone is like, mewing works better when you're younger. How do we know mewing worked and you didn't just viralize? Dude, if you look at me and how I appeared from fucking 15 to 17, you'd think I was mewing. I did have braces, could have changed the shape of my face. Also, it viralizes. That's what pubescence does. Puberty does that to men. It's like all this looks maxing shit is just meant to get you to click on things. They're all men who are trying to inspire in you an insecurity and then sell you an antidote, and they've made it their whole fucking business. That's why I don't even really like platforming fitness shit. So much of it's built on, I look like this so I get pussy and I have power. And this is the new one thing to get your arms big. When really it's just being really like blandly and unrelentingly consistent for a very long period of time with well-founded training principles. There's not a new movement. You don't introduce a new movement every 2 weeks to make your arms bigger. This whole thing's built on, this is why you're not enough and this is how you become enough. And it's a fucking nightmare. It's why I've totally disengaged with it. It's why I'm so adamantly against it. They're just people who are trying to sell you new bullshit. That's it. This looks maxing shit, mewing, this fucking, all this incel adjacent shit of like, no, don't go out there. You're not enough yet. Buy all my fucking products. They're just weaponizing this generational fucking trauma from like one formative rejection, right? So it's like it's become so widespread. It's the self-perpetuating echo chamber of people who come together over a sense of woundedness and then affirm the woundedness in each other in a way that's just so deeply, deeply, deeply fucking painful. Deeply painful. Deeply. What I'm telling you is that improving your looks is going to be, if you want to become more conventionally attractive, getting in shape and learning to groom will do all of that. Mewing, not doing it. The people who are trying to inspire an insecurity in you are not the ones who are in any way, shape, or form helping you become, like, they're there to make you think you're not enough perpetually. That's what it is. There are plenty of attractive people. You can see this in all these forms. Plenty of like decent looking people. Or just people who are so poorly fucking groomed they don't know that they could be good looking. Because 90% of being good looking conventionally is just being in shape and groomed. 90 fucking percent of it, dude. That's like, it's crazy the ways in which that attenuates the entire like bare minimum for people, you know? And that's just in conventional senses. That's even like assuming that you don't have anything fucking in common with this person. The best thing you could do is find people you actually have shit to talk about with. So everything about that interaction isn't predicated on you being, this vision of fuckability based on a ton of fucking media fictions that you've internalized. So many different things have been viewed as attractive, and so much of that emanates from an individual's personality. Like, you got to think about, like, what women have exalted the most. Very rarely is it just a model. Like, models are much more, like, so I was a model, right? My audience, gay fucking men, 100%, because I am an object. I am a set of lines and images. That's just not, like, what... women tend to exalt, like, characters. Do you know what I mean? Like fiction, like people with like these identities built around them, you know, that like represent like sensitivity, you know, and they might be attractive because they sell that image. They do, but like women, there's so many different people that people are like so many different, like women tend to be drawn to like an identity as like a collective in this fictional capacity. It's just like there's so much more you could do to just be a more considerate, grounded, like an engaged and interested person who's like unrelenting about their own passions in a way that inspires others to engage with their passions. But instead, you're like bone mashing and hitting your face because some asshole on the internet told you that you're not enough. Like, you are enough, you're just not finding the people who value the shit that you are. And that doesn't mean that, like, and if you want to augment the entirety of your identity to appease the absolute lowest common denominator, go for it. But I think that the best advice you can be given is focus on your health, get in good shape, you know? Put yourself out there and go to learn over time that, like, people do value you, you know? Doesn't mean everyone's going to like what you have to say. Not everyone likes what I have to say. Not everyone likes what most people have to say. But if you focus on making everyone like you, over time you're going to lose any sense of texture or authenticity that could bring you any sense of legitimate fulfillment through love or belonging. And that's the thing I just don't want to see for people, man. I just don't want to see it for you. I'm not sure women exalt sensitivity. I'm sure you're not sure of that. Women definitely like people who are sensitive. Definitely. Empathetic, in tune with like the emotional terrain around them, that can like attenuate that. Yeah, they do. In my experience, at least, yes. Let's see. Mind you, most people complaining about so again, I think that the problem is that everyone's vending an insecurity to you. I think that these influencers, like pickup influencers, etc., who are trying to sell you on this fucking protocol, it's all built on how to essentially placate to the lowest common denominator, frankly. So it's going to be a lot of insecure individuals who are looking to find this super manicured vision of like unconsidered hyper traditional masculine concepts as a means of affirming their capacity to attract an individual that I guess like demographic. It tends to be young women in clubs, and that's what most of that's built on, and that's not an actual like longitudinal strategy. It's why a lot of those dudes just continue to cycle through young women as a means of affirming in them their capacity to sleep with people, because to actually have connection with someone requires being self-confronting and authentic and really considering who it is you are and what it is you look for in connection. And that's the way that you actually feel grounded. I'm not just trying to constantly attenuate or assuage your insecurities via conquest. Because everything, when all of your interactions are charged by insecurity, there's no authenticity, there's no engagement. It's just tell me I'm enough, tell me I'm enough. This is how we get this person to do the thing that tells me I'm enough. There's no I value this connection that I'm building with someone, or I'm learning about an individual. I'm trying to see if someone it really wants to be with me. It just makes no sense. It just makes no fucking sense. Eventually banging this against a wall is insane. Banging my head against the wall is just so fucking insane. Speaking generalities in society, sensitivity. I mean, dude, I don't even think that you're. It's not. What's the calculus you're doing for what's most desired? There's literally so much fragmentation amongst what women are looking for. Unless you're going for whatever's most perpetuated via popular culture or mediums that are absolutely contrived and like designed mostly by men in this very specific capacity, I don't know what to tell you. It's like. I think that the more we give people independent agency to suggest what's attractive or give visibility to something that may not be conventionally attractive, the more we see the evolution of what's viewed as attractive happen in real time. This is happening both to men and to women. There's no one prevailing idea of what good looking is, and we're seeing that continually evolve in real time in every way. TikTok's a big part of that. I do think that over time we're going to see a lot of individuals see like, oh, I like what this represents. I like what this is, because it's finding ways to like narrowcast and thrust into more niches individuals who are consuming media. And so you're going to see a lot of, I think, like novel like inputs and identities that can be seen as viable, to the point where people are just going to be more receptive to things that aren't just like one kind of like, representative of like this single like monolithic abstraction of attractive. You know what I mean? There's just so much more nuance to it, man. Anyways, I gotta piss. I'll be right back. All right, cool. We're in. Can we talk about your blankie? Oh yeah, we have an Overwatch blanket there. I don't know whose it is. It was in one of the rooms I streamed in when I first got the S-Fans, and I just kind of kept it. That's it. All of our days to make. Why, thank you, Sergey. That means a lot. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, so I guess what I want to say in closing to this discourse, because I am fucking gassed by it, is I think that there is nothing wrong with wanting to tend to your personal health and your personal development and to develop the things that you believe to be most intrinsic to your well-being and your passions and your interests. But I think to obsess over appeasing the lowest common denominator is a great way to rob yourself of any sense of joy, and especially joy that's materialized authentically. So don't make your life's mission to attract the greatest number of people. Find individuals who you have legitimate connection with. By pursuing, ceaselessly and with total unrelenting passion and insistence, the things that you are most inspired by, the things that you are most, reinvigorated through engaging with, those things, those properties, those ideals, those, philosophies, etc. Whatever those concepts are that you find to be most, say like existentially, imperative, those fulfilling, those the things that are most fulfilling, most essential to your sense of wellness. Engage with those and find people who echo that in you. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be in better shape, but I think that doing everything in your power to align with a, prevailing or a singular kind of like cultural, narrative around what good looking may be to this group of people who are subject to this group of this kind of like social conditioning, etc., is a great way to over time rob yourself of any sense of authentic belonging or understanding. So try to find people who echo in you the things that you find to be most resonant, most meaningful, most captivating. I think that you're going to be far happier for it. So yeah. Other than that, though, I mean, holy shit, I'm fucking fatigued by the rhetoric altogether. Okay. Let's do this chat-aroo. I am. Let's do this. I think it's high time we in the stream today, so I can move on to my resting. Let's raid Corey, and I will see you guys not tomorrow but Wednesday for some workout stuff and some chilling. I had fun. I always have fun chatting with you guys. Make no mistake, I do. I love you guys. Thank you for a fun day. It's so weird ending this early. I do not like it. I do not like it. I love streaming, but we got to make time for life and rest and doing other things. And just know I love you guys. So this is hard to do. I want to hit cancel and stream more. I have so much energy still. All right. I love you guys. Have fun. All right. Go enjoy Corey. Tell him he's the man. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? Later, team.